welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews podcast number 5.
Number 5!
I'm Gary.
I'm Ian.
And today we've got a guest joining us.
What's up, guys? My name's Andy. How's it going?
And today, in this podcast, of course, we're going to talk about what we've been up to recently, what we've been watching, what we've been playing. We're going to look at some movie news, some trailers, before we get into the theme of this week's podcast, which is going to be wrestlers and wrestlers in films.
Yeah.
It's still real to me, damn it.
And then, of course, we will be answering your questions. So, Ian, what have you been up to?
Well, you know, same old as usual. I've been working, I've been editing, I've been watching some questionable films for the show.
Porn.
I recently completed Dark Souls 3.
Very nice, very nice. Did you have a little help?
I did. I managed to get Gary in and our friend Nella in to help me through the last bunch of bosses, and we kind of just smashed the last 5 or 6 bosses in the game.
We knew you were
Did
close
you get an
to the
achievement
end.
for that?
I got an achievement.
That achievement is a lie.
No,
If you had to get help in.
because I argued with Nella on this. Nella was just like, you just hang back. So whenever he decided to boss, I would just run up, hit the boss, and run away.
I don't know.
Because
I got a hit in.
I don't know you, Nella, but congratulations on completing Dark Souls 3 by the sound of it.
Yeah. Well, I completed it, and
I'm bringing Ian along.
Yeah, well done, dude.
I finished off the trilogy now, so I'm done with Dark Souls now. I'm just like, you know what? I've had my stint. It was hard. It was enjoyable. It was a nice game. I completed Mad Max.
Nice,
For
yeah.
the
We played
Xbox
that for
One.
a Gaming Friday, yeah.
That was really enjoyable, and when I got to the end of the game, there was this one shot where Max in the game was kind of stood looking out some sand dunes, and he had the car stood next to him, and I was
Is it like the opening shot of the movie?
the opening shot of Fury Road, and I was just like, that's really good. You've now ended this game, so now it flows into Fury Road, and
so
I
you're
really feel like I was
he's
playing
totally
Mad
about
Max.
to eat a lizard.
I was eating lizards in the game. I was running over raccoons to eat. But I did
Eat the roadkill.
Trash pandas.
I got
Gross.
most of the achievements, but then you get those few achievements where it's like collect all the historical documents and upgrade all of this and do all the races. And I was like, yeah, and I'm done. I've killed enough people in the wasteland.
Oh man, it's
Yeah.
good to know that even in the
I've done
far
all that.
fucking nuclear future, we'll still race cars in the desert.
Yeah, there was a lot of races, and it was only until
This pleases
I
me.
It's a
completed
great
my,
kind of apocalypse.
I completed my first race, and I realised that I could actually unlock them as petrol stations around the map instead of just having to go
keep
back
going back
always
to-
to the
Oh,
stronghold.
like
and
fast travel points.
Yeah, I could just go there once I completed
How
the race.
far into the game did you work?
Already
Man, I
finished
was
it.
like 75, 80%.
So you're like, fuck it, I'm driving. I've done it. I've come this far.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm not doing
Upgrading
any more
the petrol
races.
tank.
Oh, that's brutal, dude. That's like, I know like some people who did that with like fucking Oblivion and Skyrim, and well, you just fast travel, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm
My
like,
poor
"Oh, how
horse."
do you even play this game?" Like,
I have.
you've hopped over a
obviously-
mountain or two, haven't you?
I have obviously been keeping up with my Hawaii
Oh,
5-0.
yeah, no,
Oh
no.
man, it's been renewed for an 8th season. Woohoo!
Fucking 8 seasons of that?
8th season of Hawaii 5-0. But that brings me to my first TV series that I saw recently. Lethal Weapon, the TV series.
Yeah, I mentioned it a couple of podcasts ago that it was in
I've heard
development.
it's really good.
It's
Really?
Yeah, nah, man. Like fucking.
See, I thought that, and I caught an episode. It stars Damon Wayans as Murtaugh and Clayne Crawford as Riggs.
Because now Damon Wayans is in fact getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh
Now,
no.
Damon Wayans, yeah, he's all right. I liked him in Last Boy Scout. I liked him in A Major Pain,
Oh,
and I
man.
could watch a few
How did
episodes
you,
of
how
My
did you
Wife
tie
and
those
Kids.
two movies together?
It's got Damon Wayans.
Let's pick up his body of work. Oh, well, it's Last Boy Scout and Major Pain.
But the thing was, I caught half an episode. And, right, this now, I know I watch Hawaii 5-0, and I know it may seem silly to people, but it's got a hint of realism in it.
There is
they're
a
in
place called Hawaii.
Yes, and there's murders that happen.
I
there,
watched
they
it before I
investigate
went there to see what I was in store for.
But in
no.
Lethal Weapon, obviously, you've got the whole dynamic of Riggs' wife dead, and obviously he's investigating that, and you've got Murtaugh wanting to retire and, live with his family and stuff like that. I caught half an episode. Riggs and Murtaugh are investigating the death of this model, and there's some links to this really expensive mansion where this really powerful guy lives, and he won't let anybody into the house, right? So I caught half the episode. I caught the end where Riggs and Murtaugh turn up at the house, and they're just like, "Oh, we've got suspicion that there's somebody in there who's the killer."
Like someone's getting shot.
They work their way in.
Probably Murtaugh.
The main guy, the killer, is chasing this girl down the road in a car. And somehow, Riggs realises this and is out in his truck, driving down after the guy.
He wasn't sprinting after him with a shirt.
No, he wasn't. Burning down the
Shame.
truck. What makes it even worse for me, right, is Riggs leans out of the truck, 2 hands on a gun, right? No hands on the wheel.
Driving with his knees. That's legit. That's fine. Driving with his knees.
Shoots the back of the car of the killer. The car, flips over, does this mad kind of, action flip over the girl who stopped in the middle of the road. Riggs stops his truck, walks over, picks up the girl, and as he walks away, slow motion, I shit you not, slow motion explosion, zoom in on Riggs's head.
Oh.
I was like, this is so bad. Why are they fucking doing this?
Shut up. That's amazing. Didn't that make you want to work out?
No, it did not. I am very upset.
I heard rumblings of it being bad before the first episode had
cool
even
guys
aired.
don't look at explosions. So.
Yeah, I know, but it's trying to take the dynamic of the first
Exactly.
film
I don't know if the
into
chemistry's
the
going to
TV
you
suit
series.
can't,
that.
mate. You can't capture that.
You
There's
can.
no
The
fucking
grittiness
way, dude.
and edginess of the first movie works so well.
And it still holds up as well. You watched that
Yeah.
movie, I think, like just gone at Christmas because it's a fucking Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie.
I watched it, but I didn't watch the DVD I had. I watched it because it happened to be on TV. I was
Yeah.
like, gleaming, I'm going to watch it. But it was that unedited one where you get to see that bit where he fucking shoots the guy at the school. The sniper's up in the
Yes,
and Riggs
yes.
just all suicidal as all fuck, just walks out in the middle of the playground with a pistol.
Yeah.
And just like, bitch, rinses him.
Exactly.
And you're like,
all that grittiness, I think, is lost in the TV series. It's more about let's see how many jokes we can
But
get in
then
about
what-
the
I mean,
film.
what
It
do you
seems
watch
like
it
it's
on?
going to be a case of the week.
What time is it on?
episodic.
You know what I mean?
10 o'clock, Channel 3.
So you got to wonder, whatever time it's on in the States is going to dictate, isn't it? Like, I mean, 10 o'clock over here, you could like straight up blow someone's brains out, like Walking
it's
Dead
past
style.
the watershed.
If
so,
it's on
yeah.
at like, depends on when it's on in the States as to what they've got to do with it,
the dynamic of the
doesn't it?
characters that I don't think works. Like I said, Lethal Weapon 1 and 2, they were gritty and realistic. 3 and 4 dragged it out. I feel in this TV series, if they keep it gritty and realistic while he's investigating who murdered his wife, we know because we've seen
How
films.
many episodes have you watched?
I saw half of one.
Oh, so what-
There's 12 episodes.
What I'm saying is, Joe Pesci's not in it yet.
if Joe Pesci turns in on it, that'd be.
If it was
might
actually
actually be
Joe
worth watching.
Pesci as
I'd
well, I'd be
watch
like,
it.
I'm fucking in.
I'd watch it if Joe Pesci turns up.
So Ian, you might have seen. I got a little bit of flack with my Mass Effect Andromeda video.
Yeah.
Well, it was because it was all multiplayer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I didn't show any of the single player, and it was because I was still playing it myself. But I've finished it now.
Yeah.
How is the single player? Because I've gone nowhere near a Mass Effect since halfway through the third one.
Really, you
I
didn't
do.
want
I
the
tapped
third
out on
one?
third. I didn't enjoy it.
You didn't enjoy it.
I love
Oh
the
my
first
God.
one. I love the second one.
Yeah.
And the third one just seemed like.
Ah,
I don't know, story wise, I really was invested in the story.
yeah.
From the first two, I thought it was awesome.
Me too. I still do.
I died to death halfway through 3.
Oh wow! I've played 1 and 2 more than the third one, but I still played the third one through 3 times.
There's something about shooting probes onto a planet in the second one that
Oh.
really pleased me.
Well,
I really liked it.
There's
No.
a small
Yes.
element
No.
of that
Yes.
in Andromeda.
Probe
but-
launch. Probe launch.
It's the
probe
dude.
launch,
It was this.
probe launch.
It was, thump, and I was like, "That's cool."
Yeah.
you get resources. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, so you say
Space money.
You've been playing Mass Effect Andromeda. What was it? I came over to do a film review. You loaded up Mass Effect Andromeda. You're playing it on Insane now.
I am.
I
I'm now
believe.
playing
on
Insanity
Insane.
Run. Yeah.
And he runs at this barracks and he gets killed by these guys, right? So he hands me the joypad. He says, "Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." I made it into the barracks. Killed all the guys. I'm like, "I don't need to play this."
Drop mic.
Yeah, just walked off.
Cool guys don't look at explosions.
There's a couple of criticisms that I have with the storytelling dynamic in the game, and
Yeah.
that is, you are the rider that BioWare wants you to be, whereas in Mass Effect, I found that you could be a renegade and do things sort of, not by the book.
Yeah.
Or be a good guy.
You could be
essentially. You could be the hero.
You could be Riggs.
You could be Riggs if you wanted to. You could be, a madman, but you still get the job done. But the way you did it, questionable.
Yeah.
And I also like the fact that in other Mass Effect games there was the options to raise your sort of charisma, and there would be dialogue options that would upset other characters. And there was, for instance, there was a boss in the first Mass Effect game where you could literally talk him down. fighting.
dude.
That was Sauron, wasn't
Sauron,
it?
yeah, the end boss.
in
You
Mass
could
Effect
end
1.
it without firing a shot.
Yeah.
There's none of that in the later Mass Effect games, and it's not here in Andromeda. Streamlined so much so that you kind of have a flavour of reactions, but what they do well is ramp up the sort of decisions that you have to make, whether it's this shade of grey or this shade of grey. You know, it's no clear. Exactly.
That doesn't sound enjoyable.
No, it's but it makes you question the morality of the decision you've got to make, and the game does that very well, and it spaces them out enough throughout the game that keeps you invested in going, did I make the right choice? I don't know. These people are pretty pissed at me now.
That was my favourite bit of the first two. Is that conversation wheel? The things that you could do with it were amazing. And then like in the third one, I felt like they went slightly too far on the run and gun for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I got Gears of War for this.
Yeah.
And it's better in that respect. So I want the story and all these, like, you know, it was. I mean, let's face it. Especially with the first couple, like, you land on the space station, you start talking to people, and you're like, oh my god, I'm playing Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm totally playing Buck Rogers, and like, look at, they're in a disco. How fucked up is this? Like, you know.
Space disco,
Yeah, but it's like I brought it up in the review that we did for the multiplayer.
Where's the cantina?
Is that there were issues in the game that they didn't iron out.
Yes, there was.
And now you're saying you're facing with this morality choice. I feel like you're facing the morality choice of, why did I buy this? Could I have waited?
No, I totally got you know, my investment in that game was been well paid off. I've totally enjoyed it right through to the end, which is why I'm playing through as another character like I do with all the Mass Effects. So when the next game comes out and it's like, you want to import a save through from one of your characters, and I'm like, yeah, I want to see the outcome of those choices play out. They've also said that they're not limiting Andromeda to a trilogy. They've said we see this as an offshoot of Mass Effect. We're not bookending, so we don't know what.
So get your wallets ready.
Yes. But you know, I'm there. I'm ready for the next Mass Effect. I'm ready to see what DLC they come out with.
Did they at least give you the whole game? They didn't lock DLC on the disc like they did back in the day.
We don't know yet.
Well,
we don't know yet.
It would seem that there are multiplayer maps and characters that were locked away, and they're releasing them for free.
That's
time.
okay. That's cool.
And
I
so
think it was
they're
the second one,
spacing
wasn't
it out.
Was it like the Shadow Broker, and that was on the I just remember going click. Wow, that downloaded fast.
It was also the third one got a lot of controversy when they released a companion character that was day one DLC.
Yeah.
And it was a pivotal fucking character to the story. Yeah. That upset a lot of people because I had to splash out another like £7-8, I think, for another character. Yeah. Which was integral to the story. Yeah. And it was like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
But
have they learned from that with respect to this one?
There's no season pass for Andromeda. So they've said, we're not locking you into buying something that doesn't exist yet. So
that's not necessarily a bad thing.
They've also promised plenty of free DLC.
Cool.
They've also been adding in missions to the single-player campaign with the patches, and they have addressed all of the backlash everyone had with the facial, you know, tics and animation goofs. Some of them are still in the game, and but
why don't you tell the audience,
when you get
Gary?
in the story?
Why don't you tell the audience the name of the team you've got on your online feature?
What do you mean?
You've got your strike teams that you send off.
Yes.
What's the name of your strike team?
One of my strike teams is I renamed them in a little bit of frustration. Fix the fucking game, which Ian found hilarious. He's like, "Hey, what's the name of your strike team?" You can read that.
Fix the fucking game.
But that was because I have
nerd rage.
Yes, a little bit of nerd rage. This because I don't know if I said it in the video, but when you're playing the game, there's a lots of little frustrating moments that on its own is enough for you to see past. But if you play the game for, you know, a 6-hour session, if you're really gunning for it, all of those little frustrations can mount up to where you get a bit of nerd rage while you're playing it. And you're just like, fix the fucking game. Like when the multiplayer keeps
and your Connect heard you and named your team.
Yeah. No, actually, you can use a mobile phone app to send your Apex teams out on missions to get resources.
That's cool.
And everything else. So so I renamed them on there in a moment of frustration. So whilst I've been playing Mass Effect Andromeda, I've been yearning for more sci-fi.
Yeah.
And I was told yet again to watch Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I watched some of the early Star Wars Clone Wars animations, and I was like, you know what? The animation quality is fine. You know, it's that off Pixar kind of look.
Yeah.
But I was like, it is Disney. It's fine. but this just seems, it does seem aimed at the children, that generation of the prequel Star Wars films mainly aimed for.
Clone Wars got darker towards the end,
which is what I
building
heard.
up to Revenge of the Sith and Order 66, and the fact that you knew the dark times were coming with the Empire.
Yeah, but
Rebels came along. It started off childlike. I wasn't going to watch it. I started sitting down and watching it with Dylan because we wanted something to watch when he settled down at night time. Getting to the end of season 1 of Rebels, I was hooked. As soon as Dylan stopped watching it, he was just like, I'm not bothered anymore, Dad. I was in season 2. I was in season 3. Obviously, I started talking to Adrian, who obviously is a mad Star Wars fan. We started talking about it. And then Gary turns around and says, I've been watching Rebels. And I'm like, yeah, boy!
Yeah, I was totally surprised. I mean,
one of us.
First episode, 40 minutes long. I was like, okay, it's interesting. And as soon as it finished, I was like, yeah, next episode. Yeah, next episode. Yeah, next season. Yeah, next season. I burned through the whole 3 seasons in this last sort of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Nice.
Couldn't get enough of it. So much so that I actually last night went back and watched the first episode of season 2 of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I could probably get into this now because I'm seeing characters in Clone Wars now where I've seen their fates in the Rebel series. And I'm like, oh, it's just layering it so much more, which actually revitalized my fandom for Star Wars, which I was very cynical when Rogue One came out. I didn't like it.
The Ghost is in Rogue One.
Yes,
as well,
I saw it. I
actually
rewatched it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm totally praising Rebels right now, and yeah, season 4 teaser has already gone out there. And
the guest star, not just the guest stars, but the voice actors in Rebels are brilliant. You've got, I think is it
Jason Isaacs was in the first season.
You got Freddie Prinze Jr. I think doing the voice of Kanan. And
writing or anything.
Sarah Michelle Gellar has a cameo.
Massive writer, isn't he?
I think he's had a hand in a few of the episodes, but he is playing a Jedi, and for half the season he's playing half of the first season. It was like he's the cowboy, he's the scoundrel.
He was like the Han Solo Jedi.
It's funny, tie that into what we're going to talk about later. You know, Freddie Prinze Jr. was a writer for WWE.
Yes, that is a good point.
I can't tell you what storylines he wrote. Hopefully not like Katie Vick or something.
You've had Sarah Michelle Gellar turn up as an Inquisitor. I mean, when Darth Vader turns up mid-season, season 2 of Rebels, you're just like, oh crap. Because he's showing off all of his Sith
now
powers.
Since Rogue One, we're fucking hardwired to fear that guy now again.
The thing was, before Rogue One, I can't remember what it was, but something massive falls on top of him during a battle, and one-handed, with his lightsaber still out, he just kind of lifts it up and throws it away, and you're just like, run, guys! He doesn't die until 3 movies' time! You know?
They brought in voice actors from Rogue One as well into Rebels.
That's fucking awesome.
So it
cast Alan Tudyk in every fucking...
Yes.
They cast that motherfucker as a chicken in fucking Moana, for God's sake. Yeah. Cast him in everything that needs a voice.
So, should we get into the trailers?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so the first trailer, which kind of has got my attention, and almost everyone that's come to see me has gone, hey Gary, can you believe it? They're making a Mist TV series.
Yeah.
And the trailer has just gone out there.
Oh, God.
So there's a lot of Stephen King projects going out in TV mode right now. Dark Tower? I think that's in film format.
What's that? Oh man, what's the name of it? But they're doing a series around Maine.
That's right.
That's what it's called.
Mark Bernardin's writing it.
We mentioned it in the last podcast.
And I was like, this sounds fucking
It's tying all of the Stephen King universes together, which is like the Dark Tower.
The second you see someone walking a fucking Rottweiler, you're going to be like, Cujo!
Yeah, that's an anthology series hooking in all of his books and all of his characters.
Yeah, I think that sounds amazing.
That's what surprised me about The Mist. That I'm like, okay, you've got this Maine coming out, and now you've got The Mist coming out. I've already read the short story. I've already seen the film. I'm a fan of both of them. What more can I get from a TV series?
Well, the TV series, I think, is ignoring the film and saying that's its own thing. That doesn't exist in this universe.
Yes.
Right.
Because in the trailer, it would give us a sense that this is happening over a course of several days or weeks or... Because I say in the book, the Mist doesn't end. The military don't turn up with flamethrowers and see the end to the Mist. Sorry, spoiler for the Mist. The book and the film. So the series is in lots of different places. Because it's a TV series, it needs to go several episodes and potentially seasons. So we're not going to see the end of the Mist.
There's a lot of Stephen King stuff. I mean, you got It, obviously. I mean, what
the It trailer.
Fucking trailer, man.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I was very skeptical
Put
again.
every light on in my house.
I kind of laughed when Georgie smacks his head on the
Fuck,
on the
I
banister.
died. I was like, no, you can't lead this trailer with that. And then it was like, I think that was almost like a precursor moment of levity before everything
the
went to
horror.
hell.
Yes.
Oh my god, when that kid runs into that thing.
I like that there is going to be no, Tim Curry funny Pennywise moments.
No, Pennywise looks terrifying. But I'm worried. But like I said, I'm worried about the film because I'm just like the spider thing. In the TV series.
But we're not going to see it in this film.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Have they said outright? Because obviously the trailer, you only see them as kids.
It's two movies.
There's not even like here's a dude and you hear him flashing back or anything. Or
Hopefully
it won't be the dude from the Waltons this time.
First part's probably going to be the better part.
But then talking about The Mist, I saw the trailer for the Fog TV series as well.
What?
Yes. I was very surprised. I was up late watching the horror channel and the Fog. This advert starts coming up of this Fog trailer, and I didn't realize it was a TV series. I thought it was the Tom Welling movie, But then I'm not seeing Tom Welling, and I'm like, this is a bit dark, and it's definitely not John Carpenter's. And then it's just like the Fog TV series starring, I think it's end of May, on Spike possibly. But I sat there and I'm like, holy shit. I could watch that over The Mist because, massive fan of John Carpenter, love The Fog.
Fuck it,
You're trying to like pick your precipitation-based show.
Yeah.
I prefer Fog to Mist.
Yes.
Fog is dry.
We're going to get the Blob TV show,
the fact is,
the Thing TV show.
I had a horrible feeling like that.
TV
I was just
show.
like, imagine the Thing TV show, imagine Aliens. It's just, you drag it out, but with The Fog, a lot of it, especially in the John Carpenter film, is about not seeing the fog. It's about the people. It's about their stories. It's about the fear that they're feeling.
The connection to the history.
Everyone wants to build a universe now, though. That's the thing. It's like Stephen King is like he's building a universe.
Yeah.
We always was. Yeah. And now it's just now the film format is turned into. Exactly, film universes.
Until Riggs turns up and starts blasting everything.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, speaking of superheroes, we got Thor.
Oh, God,
Ragnarok
the Thor
trailer.
Ragnarok trailer.
Punchy.
Excited?
Oh, God. I mean, okay, it's been oversaturated now with all the memes with Thor's line. I mean, I'm not going to do it, but the trailer worked so well, giving you all those little snippets of what he's going to go through. To the point where you see Hulk come smashing out, and I love the Hulk. I love Planet Hulk. I always wondered how they would do it in a film, and I was glad. And I'm glad that they're not doing it.
Well,
if you know what I mean.
They don't have the rights to do a Planet Hulk movie, so which is why they've gone, okay, if we cannot make a Hulk movie and call it Planet Hulk, we'll just put parts of that storyline. Bits that we can borrow and not get sued for copyright and put it in a Thor movie.
And that works. Because if you make a Planet Hulk... They did the Planet Hulk animated movie.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's not Planet Hulk.
I quite enjoyed it.
It's not Planet Hulk.
Yeah, I mean,
because in the comic book of Planet Hulk, you've got all the story with the villagers, his relationship with Kyra, the fight with the Red Emperor.
I thought the Red Emperor was one of the better parts of the movie. Actually, I thought they got him down pretty well.
Once he's done, it's gone. It's over.
Yeah.
They don't bring in the spikes. They don't bring in what happens at the end of the comic book.
Of course, they bring in spikes.
Not as much as we see in the comic book.
But it's not like you got less time, haven't you? Obviously,
but they should have planned for that. They should have made a 3-hour.
I think they
Planet Hulk because that's what we want.
That, though, do they?
Going with Thor Ragnarok.
Bring me a 10-hour Planet Hulk series. Take my money now. Planet Hulk into World War Hulk. Thanks.
Bringing in Thor, you sit there and you're like, you don't know what to expect. You might have a inclination, you might have a clue.
You got to think there was footage
a
year ago. Some footage got out, didn't it? Of they're like fighting in in like a forest.
Yeah.
And I think it was like the Warriors 3 rather than Thor even in it.
I think it was Hulk
3, and then
Warriors 3.
fucking boom, Hulk is that yell goes off, and you're like, holy shit. So it's been there for a long time. Ruffalo's been tweeting out stuff and things like that.
Well,
but the vehicle in which they introduced him in that Planet Hulk style, that gladiatorial style, was very cool. I mean, I've literally just watched it with you guys for the first time. I've not watched the trailer just because I'm like, they've got my money.
You know you're going to see it.
I know I'm going to go and see it. But yeah, it's been memed out all over the place, you know, and they're amazing. The memes are great, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, what a fucking fun trailer. And it didn't reveal that much, really. I mean, you know, Ragnarok anyway is synonymous with the comics. You kind of know what Ragnarok is. We've already had the prelude to it in a way with Age of Ultron, where he has the flash with palm down and everything like that. So you know where it's going in a sense. So what they gave us was just something that looked possibly more fun than Guardians of the Galaxy.
It looks epic, and it looks really humorous at the same time.
They know what they're doing at Marvel.
Yeah.
And also, didn't they just drop that when Justice League put out their freaking trailer? It
Yes.
was like, Marvel can't let DC have one good day, goddammit.
They cannot.
Like, here's the Justice League trailer, and evereverone was like, perfect. Like, you look like you've addressed so many issues. It looks fantastic.
Oh no, wait, Marvel.
And Marvel were like, let me just pull my dick out and just, what have we
bigger.
got? Yeah, what have we got in the archive? Oh, the Thor Ragnarok trailer. Ah, fuck it, just throw it out there, bitches.
But it isn't finished yet. I don't know. Let's just find a pop soundtrack.
Put a really weird 80s
the Guardians
graphic
didn't
up.
use.
Yeah.
And put that in there.
Yeah.
What have we got left in the soundtrack?
That's it. I reckon it's going to be tough for DC because they've got Wonder Woman and Justice League coming out this year.
Yes.
Wonder Woman's got to hit hard because
that
feels like that movie's should have been out for a
Already.
long time.
Yeah, and it's overshadowed.
I keep thinking I've missed it. Like, I keep
Yeah,
thinking,
did it
like,
come and go?
wait, is that on DVD yet? Because I think I missed that in the cinema. It's
That-
not even
that's
been
the-
released.
That was the
That's
problem with their trailers coming out almost immediately after Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, dude.
And it's been so long.
But that's what annoyed me because Wonder Woman came out. I was like, I'm all excited.
And then
for
you got
this.
Aquaman.
But the thing was, they said, oh yeah, here's
Comes on the
Wonder
king
Woman.
side.
And now it's like, right, we're not going to show
So
any more
cool.
Wonder Woman trailers. We're going to show Justice League trailer. And I'm
But
like,
that's not out until after Wonder
That's not
Woman.
out yet, but okay, I'll watch this. And
Especially when you think as well, it's not out till November, and your brain hardwires you for like summer blockbuster November. Fuck you.
yeah.
Like,
and then all of a sudden Marvel come along and go, here's Guardians. You're like, I'm done. Yeah, Marvel, you got my money. Yeah, but here's Thor as well, and you're like,
Colours.
overdose.
And also with the criticisms of DC being all washed out and dark, and they're like, how many colors can you take in one trailer? Deal with it, and just that Ragnarok.
But then we're
trailer,
saying this, by the
my
time
God.
obviously this podcast goes out, Guardians will already be out, and chances of it being not very good.
I'm going to go see it next
Did you
week,
know
so by the
it's-
time this
you know
podcast
it's
goes
gonna
out, I would have
roll.
already seen it, and I just can't wait.
Oh man, I
Just can't
saw
wait.
that clip online where he's
That baby Groot. I am Groot.
I'm
Groot.
I have avoided
that's great.
all the trailers and all the clips for Guardians other than the very first trailer that went
man.
out. So
There, I won't
I
say it, but there is a line that Drax shoots at Raccoon, which just literally had me in tears. But just, yeah, enjoy it. I can't wait to see that movie.
yeah, I can't
It
wait.
looks amazing.
And so next trailer, Transformers. Was this number 7?
No, number
No, 6?
number 1, 2,
Five.
3, 4, 5.
Number 5. Oh, it's only 5.
The Last Night.
Yes, the last night. But is it the last night? Because you know that they've still got 7, 8, and 9 planned.
You know what?
I don't think plan's the right word.
I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care.
yeah,
It's
yeah, you're right.
Transformers. It's giant robots. I said this before in a previous podcast. When I sit down and watch a Transformers movie, I don't care about what's going on. I just want to see giant robots beat the shit out of each other.
I said the same
You
thing.
know,
You'll get it in
given up.
spades, dude.
Yeah,
I've given up.
totally.
It was like the Fast and the Furious movies. You know, I hated the first sort of 6 movies. And then I had to watch all 6 of them again to review them.
Yeah.
And then it was like, by the time I got to the 4th one again, I lost. I was like,
I never want to see a car for the rest of my life.
The white flag has gone up. I cannot criticize it anymore. I run out of momentum. So I just let them
they
happen.
are cliche,
It's like an
they
abusive relationship where I just go back for the next one.
They're
And I'm just going to
cliche,
turn
they're
up for the next
Oh,
Transformers.
now it's Mark Wahlberg hitting me. Oh.
Explosive. But you're seeing Optimus Prime.
I don't
Yeah, but
care.
like,
doing
don't get me wrong,
his thing. And
I
I love
agree
Optimus
with you.
Prime.
Yeah, dude, we all do, but like after a while, it's just like, fuck it. I've seen Optimus Prime so much, and it's like if I have to hear Mark Wahlberg pretend to be Texan with it, oh my god, it's a Transformer one more time.
Hey,
I'm
you
just-
would run to the cinema day of release if it was Transformers: The Last Night, Mark Wahlberg, Ted. And Ted's going around with him, and Ted's an actual little man.
Yeah, that sounds
Transformer.
amazing.
I know. I should do films. Ted in Transformers.
I love
and
it. You're like, I
Transformers.
should do films by pulling different DVDs off my shelf and smushing them
Chucking
together.
characters in. They should totally do that. Yeah, okay, we got
Batman versus Afro Samurai.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I'm going to move on to the next trailer. Star Wars. We're back to Star Wars, and another.
It's that time of the year again.
It's the Last Jedi.
You know,
or is it?
I don't know.
It probably is.
Do you think though? Do you think? I mean, I've got a thing for Star Wars movies where the second movie is always the big,
darker one,
the darker, the more explosive. There's a twist kind of thing, and I feel that the Last Jedi is going to try to aim to be the Empire Strikes Back of this generation.
Totally, yes.
Yeah, but Rogue One already did that.
No, but Rogue One's a separate movie. It's on its own. It doesn't have a sequel.
It does have a fucking sequel. New Hope is its sequel.
Right, okay, New Hope is its sequel.
It's canon,
but it's
dude.
not.
It is, but it's not numbered. It's not part of the saga.
What I'm meaning is you've got Force Awakens.
No, okay, whoa, all right. I get what you're saying, but it is absolutely part of the saga.
Yes,
it's literally totally. It's like plugging the biggest plot hole that's been around for 40 fucking years or whatever.
But where Force Awakens is the Phantom Menace, Star Wars: New Hope of its trilogy. That's what I'm saying about the Last Jedi. Is it? I feel it's going to aim to be the Empire Strikes Back of this trilogy.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have a Return of the Jedi.
The rebels are going to get their asses handed to them. They're going to lose a lot of the battles.
Yeah.
A lot of hands are going to be lost.
And someone's going to lose a hand, and someone's going to find out who they're related to.
Let's all go watch it at the cinema, okay? And every time Ray's on screen, we do the bit from Hot Tub Time Machine, where it's like, "You're going to lose that fucking hand." And it's like kids everywhere. That hand's coming off. Every time there's a near miss of a lightsaber, you're like, "Oh,
not yet.
I'm going to take it myself."
But it looks good, and I'm glad. I'm glad Mark Hamill is getting a lot more time.
Well, yeah, because
what in comparison to
because you'd watch an
when he was there for the
him.
table read, and they're like, he must have been sat like, "What the fuck?"
He has no lines of dialogue.
But that was good. That's what set him up to be the Obi-Wan of this one. Then in Last Jedi, it's going to be all training. Or him and Rey are going to be all training. And
I hope there's a montage.
She's going to get to the end near the end of the film, and she's going to get this dreamlike where she's like, "Oh, what's the guy over at Finn?" She'll be like, "Oh, Finn's in trouble. I better go off to this underwater planet because we don't want to do Sky Cloud City again." Yeah. And I'm going to be fighting Kylo.
No, it'll be a beach, man. They love to fucking put AT-ATs on beaches now, don't they? Isn't that amazing?
Kylo loses a hand. Kylo loses both hands and sticks lightsabers on the end of them. I'm doing it again. It's in films.
I just want to see. Now they've moved the scar. I just want to see him do the bit from fucking Men in Tights, where every now and again the scar moves, and the stormtroopers like, "Don't fucking mention his scar." Remember what he did to that panel when he was really mad that time? And then at the end, like, Rey's on the end of his lightsaber, and she's like, "I just have one question. You think it's gonna be like, who's your father, or like, you're my brother?" And it's actually like, "Why does your scar keep moving?" And he's like, "I have a scar."
Yeah, he's like, "What scar?"
Yeah.
And you look and there's no scar.
Plus it's Disney and he turns into Scar from Lion King.
God. That would be brilliant.
That is his scar as well. I just noticed that. That is Scar's
Luke
scar.
Skywalker on a cliff and he's just like,
"Long live the Jedi."
Long live the Jedi. Throws him off. And
stomped by a bunch of little AT-ATs. Loads of AT-ATs come into the canyon and it does that pan up on Rey and her ears go back.
The desert planet, that's what we saw in the trailer. The desert planet.
And then she realises, oh, they're slow as fuck. So she just walks off.
Star Wars line.
Mate, I probably shouldn't write Star Wars movies.
No. But I am excited for the next one.
Yes, definitely.
But there's rumblings right now that the Star Trek films might be struggling to get the fourth movie in development.
You know what?
Zachary Quinto has said that he thinks it's unlikely that they'll actually make a fourth Star Trek film.
I think it's time for them to stop. They had a good run with 3 movies. Don't come back and try to milk it. That's what we had before with the original series.
Didn't finish the third one.
And the original...
Wow.
I didn't finish it.
No?
Do you know what? I'm not saying that I didn't finish it because it was bad. I didn't finish it because it just didn't... I was watching it at home on like Blu-ray and it just didn't grab me and I just kind of wandered off.
Yeah.
And it didn't really do a lot for me. I was like, I love me some Idris Elba. I'm like, don't pay for the best looking bloke on the planet and then cover him in makeup.
Yeah.
Okay? But it did. Whereas From Beyond, man, is was it Into Darkness. Sorry.
Yeah, Into Darkness.
It's such a good movie.
Nice, yes,
Shut the fuck up. That's a great movie.
Into Darkness is amazing.
That car and
Into
shit, the way they
Darkness
flip it
is
at the end.
Is a shit
Then
stain on the Star
then
Trek
why
films.
make a fourth movie?
Because
the
the
second
first
one
one was good and the
Yes,
third one was
The second
good.
one was good, and the third one was good.
I
Leave it
liked
at that.
Simon
Leave
Pegg's
it at
script for the third. I liked Star Trek Beyond. I think it paid a lot of homage to the original TV series. I was actually teary-eyed at the end of the film when Zachary Quinto was looking at a picture of the original Star Trek cast, and of course, paying their respects to Spock. Leonard Nimoy passed away. I liked it, but Into Darkness.
Dude,
But-
fucking Kirk dies at the end instead of Spock.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
that's
so
just
good.
Darkness.
Yeah, man, because that's the point.
But-
Because we established that, like, you know, it already happened with Spock. We've already met alternative
yeah,
Spock.
but then they bring it back with the blood of a tribble. It's like,
That was hilarious.
oh, I want to die. Oh no.
But my point is that the original
Such a
series
good
of
movie,
movies
dude.
are really good. Are really good. But once you've got past you motion picture, it's a bit slow. Wrath of Khan is brilliant. Search for Spock is really good.
Wrath of Khan is still totally holds up as like an amazing flick.
I'm a big fan of Voyage Home, but then I find it difficult to get through Final Frontier and Undiscovered Country. I usually
Every odd number
I
of
usually
Star Trek is shit.
I usually
Basically,
just skip
those are the
those
rules.
two and then go just straight into Generations. You know. But then Generations starts to drag it out.
Oh,
a bit
Generations
when they
is
get to
terrible.
Insurrection.
Yeah, Generations was fucked up.
It was
Oh my god.
Insurrection is quite bad. And what was it? Nemesis. I have real trouble getting through Nemesis. So when you've done these Star
I
Trek
didn't mind
movies,
First Contact. I quite like First Contact.
I
but
like
then I
Star
like
Trek.
me some Borg.
yeah,
So-
with the
You know,
It's a
new-
stupid action film which
Totally.
also betrays the TV series.
they should do what they did.
All the characters change who they were in the TV
Yeah.
show and just become action
Do you, know,
heroes.
do
for
you know what's funny about some of the Next Generation movies, most of the Next Generation movies, is you can pick some of the episodes from Next Generation that are so much better than the
any of
movies
those
that you're like,
films.
why
Yeah.
did you just... That one, I can never remember the name of it, where they all turned into different animals.
Oh,
remember that one?
they de-evolved.
Yeah,
They
man.
de-evolved,
Oh,
and
God,
Picard's
fucking-
the only one trying to go around.
Troy turns into a fucking snake and she's in the jacuzzi all
Yeah.
like...
I
And I'm like, still would. But...
Next Generation, they even did a Die Hard episode where Picard's the only guy left on the ship, and there's
And he's
terrorists
crawling
trying to
through
take
the
over,
fucking ducts,
and he's
yeah.
gonna go. I was just like, this is Die Hard.
He's-
It's
yeah,
Star Trek.
It was, man.
Brilliant.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So,
Where's that movie?
Yeah.
Even though there's some doubts as to whether Star Trek 4 will be made, I don't think Paramount's going to let the property go. I think they
of
might
course
just
not.
give it a
They
break.
should hold on to it
I
and
think
do
they
a
will.
Rogue One. They should
Well,
do a Star Trek
the
and completely separate.
Star Trek's coming back to TV. As
Ah,
we
of
know,
course
the
it
new
is.
Star
Yeah,
Trek Discovery is later this year, so maybe they're just going to wait and see how that does critically, financially, and then come back to Star Trek some more.
I mean, it's one of those things that will never, ever go away in the sense of it'll never be done. It will always
Well,
be
I don't know,
rebooted
and
after
the
a few
Enterprise
years.
TV series almost did make sure Star Trek
Oh,
never came
Yeah, but
back.
same as like
even
fucking
then-
Batman and Robin killed the franchise, but only for so long
Yeah, I
before
was
someone
gonna
comes
say,
along
you
with a better
reinvents
idea.
it again.
Enterprise
A
wasn't
good idea is a good idea. isn't it?
Enterprise wasn't good, but I can go back and watch a couple episodes now for fun.
Yeah.
The only time,
You know?
whenever I'm watching Enterprise, I'm like, when does he leap?
Yes. It takes too many seasons to leap.
I'm like, when does Al come through the door and tell him why he's here so we can get this fucking plot moving
Ziggy
forward?
says you've still got 4 more seasons.
Yeah, it's like even when the plot
then
Quantum
he
Leap was
did-
bad, Al would just rock
boy.
up and move it on.
He just turns to the camera and he's like, oh boy.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Ziggy says it's time for the credits. Oh boy.
Well,
Fucking
speaking
genius,
of
man.
bringing back dead TV shows, X-Files is coming
Yeah,
back.
dude.
Season
For
11.
Get
An
your duct tape in your
extended-
windows, people.
Yeah, an extended season, is it 11?
Yes.
With
season
10
11.
episodes this time. And of course, David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson are in
Yep.
talks along with Chris Carter.
I'm just going to put this out now. Gillian Anderson gets finer as the years go on.
Dude, you watch Hannibal?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
No, I did not.
I bought all those on Blu-ray, dude, because it's literally one of the best, if not my favorite series, like of the last 10 years. I'll put it in like top 5, like Sons of Anarchy. And
It's
Walking
made
Dead
me
and
want to
stuff like
watch.
that,
Is
man.
it Mads Mikkelsen?
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes, yeah. Anything he's in,
Hannibal.
I just want to watch.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
He was
just-
great in Doctor Strange.
Yes,
and like,
yeah. I complained that he didn't have enough
fucking
screen
Rogue
time
One,
in
man. He was
Doctor
amazing in
Strange.
Rogue One.
Yeah,
Dude,
he
like,
was.
I'm a sucker.
complained
I am
he
a
didn't
sucker
have-
for the daddy-daughter. You know, I have a daughter, so I'm a sucker for the daddy-daughter
Yeah.
relationship.
My-
My
yeah.
fucking Star
Yeah.
Wars tradition of, you know, every year since fucking Force Awakens is like, you know, it's always out at Christmas. So
Yeah.
I always drive. I'll take like 3 hours when I got anything to do. my wife stays at home. She'll watch on Blu-ray and enjoy it, but she's not a cinema person. So I'll drive on my own. I'll park up. I'll get my ticket and go back to the car. Blaze one. Go into the cinema and watch it. And I was sat there at Rogue One, so toasted, just melted into the seat. And he's like, when she pops up that hologram and he's talking to her, he's like, "You're my Stardust." I'm bawling like a fucking middle-aged dude. Like, I need to phone my daughter. And he plays that so well in that movie. But then when you go and watch Hannibal, you're like, he's Satan.
He's
so good.
So
he's a bad man. He's a bad man.
Oh.
I just want to
Eddie
see him
Izzard
in
in
more
that
and more
series,
things.
man, is like, so good. But man, Gillian Anderson, you're right, she is.
But did either of you see the new X-Files TV series?
No, I used to love X-Files, and now I'm kind of over it. I ain't gonna lie. I'm happy that it's back because I'm like, oh, that's cool. But
I watched the new series.
I heard it was mixed.
It was very mixed, but it was mixed because each one of the episodes was like they took one of the favorite elements
from the
previous seasons, and so there was like a big government conspiracy UFO episode.
No shit.
There was a big mutant creature episode, and then there was one of the best episodes of that whole series was Flight of the Conchords, the guy who's their manager. The
other dude who's in like
he plays,
What We Do in the Shadows is the werewolf.
Yes, he plays a creature that's been bitten by a man, and so every day he turns human, but at night he turns into this monster. And so Mulder and Scully have been called to come to this town to investigate this monster, but they can't find it. And so while they're talking to this comedian, he's constantly saying to them, I'm a monster, but he just looks normal. And he's just so upset because he wants to return to his normal life because he can't handle having a job and getting to work and paying his rent. And finally, at the end of the episode,
I love that actor as well. I don't know his name, but I love that dude.
Yeah,
so
he
I really enjoy that.
turns back into the monster and disappears off into the woods.
And
I was just like, you know what? That was the best episode of this whole series.
Dude, no, to be fair, like in the early days of X-Files, it's like no one did fucking Monster of the Week better than X-Files. No one.
It set the formula.
It's totally like X-Files, and then you go to like Buffy. And like there's seminal shows like that, but X-Files, Monster of the Week, they were the fucking bomb.
I mean, the American government UFO stuff kind of just got like really boring. But then
after a while, it's like the conspiracy dragged out to the point where you're like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I
don't care
I
who took your sister, Mulder.
Yeah.
Like, figure it out or move on.
So I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
Well, it's interesting to see whether they're going to do more mythology type stuff and explore past things, or again try and be experimental.
Where he's like, Mulder, did you know that at the signing of the Round Table with the Knights, there were robots?
That would work.
I saw a trailer.
They should start off a couple of episodes involving the American government doing their thing, and then branch off to do these strange episodes, and then bring it back at the end of the season to go, oh, remember that guy you saw in the very first episode? He's back again, and he turns out to be a robot from the future.
I would like them to tell a 10-part
all about
story
Creepy Mulder,
instead of just standalone episode. I would quite like to see it more serialized.
The best X-Files episode ever was when they went to was it Alaska? And they had the team.
Darkness Rising? That was the one with the fucking...
That was the one with the flies. I love the little flies in the woods.
The little termites and shit, wasn't it? Yeah. The one where it starts off with the two guys and they got the gun on each other and then they turn it. They turn the guns on themselves.
And they've got the worm inside it and you got to work out which one was human.
Well, the thing is, because everyone's killing each other and it's kind of like the Thing, but then they have to like see who's been bit. So basically, Gillian Anderson gets naked. Mm-hmm. So I was like, win. Like, best episode ever.
Yeah.
Where she's like, I would have been great in that situation where she's like, we should all do the examinations in front of each other. I'm like, totally.
Your turn.
I'd be naked before she finished that sentence. I'd be like, get on with it.
And so our last news story is Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon has jumped ship from Marvel and stepping over into Warner Brothers.
This is what you get for releasing that Thor trailer, bitches.
And now he's working with DC on Batgirl. Joss Whedon is developing and going to be directing Batgirl for DC.
Oh, dude, is there anyone better to do it? Dude?
Now, at first I was just like, really? Like, okay, Joss Whedon. Avengers, you know, amazing.
Supergirl's getting a lot of heat from being a TV series. So I suppose Batgirl could work.
Well, Joss Whedon said the thing that's attracted him to the project is that he likes the idea of exploring the psyche of a girl who has decided to reject everything that she could have as a normal life.
Yeah, man.
She, her parents weren't killed in a brutal way. She didn't inherit all of this, but she is the sort of character that went, fuck it, I choose to be like Batman.
Barbara Gordon sees her dad, going through what he goes through, and like, the way in the comics that I've read, and primarily I see it's like, she has got that kind of like, why is he got to be the one that's got to go through all this? Especially in the later ones, obviously spoilers, when she gets put in a wheelchair and becomes Oracle and everything like that, and it's all about protecting her dad for the most part. I think it was the recent run of Injustice when they did those comics at DC, which are phenomenal. Yeah. And I think it's at that point where Commissioner Gordon literally fucking just calls her out on it, going like, "You need to get hold of these people and do this." And she's like, sitting her check, going, "What are you talking about, Dad?" And he's like, come on. I'm the chief of fucking police. You think I don't know you're Batgirl and Oracle? Do what you need to do and stuff." And like the dynamic between Commissioner Gordon and Batgirl has always been one of my favourites in the comics. And now that we've got
Josh Whedon,
playing Commissioner Gordon, help me out,
from Gotham?
From Batman versus Superman's
universe? No, in Justice League. Oh god, it's killing me. He played J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man and help me out.
Simmons?
Yes, J.K. Simmons. Yes. Oh, that was figuratively killing me.
Yeah, I know, sorry. Yes, a great actor.
And he looks phenomenal. Yeah. He looks so pulled out of the comic book.
Yeah.
Him opposite whoever's going to play Barbara Gordon. Yeah. I can't wait to see that. And again, the daddy-daughter thing, I can't wait to take my kids to see that. She loves Batgirl.
Saying that, going back to Buffy, well, I mean, Josh Whedon did brilliantly with the whole story arc with Giles and Buffy. The father.
The pseudo.
Yeah. So to be able to take that, Josh Whedon will be able to just make Batgirl work to a point where you're just like, where's the next episode? I need the next episode.
Well, it seems like it's going to be character driven and character based, and that's something that the DC movies really need, is real character that people can relate to.
They need a bit of hope.
Yes, and I'm glad that Joss Whedon's able to jump over there and work.
Well,
can you imagine taking like the kind of dynamic that Giles had with Buffy when it was like, when he had to call her on stuff, or not even necessarily Buffy, but the entire group, like the time where they brought Buffy back to life, and like Willow's like, "Oh, it's totally awesome," and he's like,
don't retard. Do that.
What are you thinking?
None of those characters had a father, did they?
No, exactly.
And so he was the dad for all of them.
It's so good, man. He can write that. If that's what he concentrates on in the script, it's probably going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. It just depends on how much, I don't know, DC and Warner Brothers lean on him to go, no, we want this.
I would ask the fans to not lean on him so much and be like, just let it come out and watch it.
But at the same time, are we then also going to see the Joss Whedon sort of style comedy and levity in his dialogue? Are these characters all of a sudden going to seem like they are the Marvel characters, the way they banter back and forth, or about to break into song?
Well, that's it as well. I mean, would it clash with Gotham? Because Gotham's building up to Batman returning, yet keeping all these other characters in the background. And then all of a sudden you get Batgirl come along, and she's going to be doing all the stuff that you want to see Batman doing in Gotham, but he's still a small child. So that's going to be in the background, hopefully not fizzling out, what I mean. I don't want Batgirl to come along and then people turn around and go, oh yeah, they cancelled Gotham. They cancelled Gotham mid-season because,
Gotham's out of the arc of all these DC. You got Flash and Arrow. And it's never hurt. Neither one's hurt each other.
Right. Okay.
So it was a little bit weird at first to see that you have the Flash in the CW TV series, and then you have another actor playing it in the film universe.
I mean, the thing that didn't help there is because Grant Gustin is just so good and charming as hell. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, nothing against Ezra Miller or anything like that. I mean, we all knew he was going to do it in Fantastic Beasts, whatever. But
it's the same. You have your comic book universe, you have your animation universe,
and then that builds up to like, great, now we can do Infinite Crisis because we've got multiple actors playing the same roles. We've got a Superman over here, we've got a Supergirl over here, we've got a Flash and an Arrow, and then over here
are they going to call up Brendan Roth and be like, we need you to play Superman again? Alternate dimension Superman.
No, please, God, fuck.
And just in case you were wondering, yes, Andy is a massive comic book nerd.
A little bit. You just said Brendan Roth and just depressed me.
Depressed you.
Well, that's good.
Remember when he never punched anyone in that Superman movie?
I like Superman Returns.
Get out.
It has its moments. I like the scene where he saves the plane.
Yeah.
On the shuttle. Was it the shuttle?
Yeah, he saves the shuttle as well, and then saves the plane as well.
Yeah.
And who played Lex Luthor again? Oh, Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey
was amazing as Lex Luthor in that movie.
Why'd it have to be another fucking realty scam? Every one of those fucking movies, he's like
all about
land. He's such a
criminal mastermind of our time.
Such a fucking huckster. Like, anyway.
Right, that's going to bring us to the end of the first part of the podcast. We'll be back momentarily to discuss wrestlers, WrestleMania, and wrestlers in film.
Yes.
Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to part 2 of the podcast. And this, Ian, I'm afraid, is mainly going to be over to you because as much as a fan of wrestling as I have been, there has been so many wrestling films in WWE sponsored, financed films.
So many.
That I caught some of the early ones and just went, I know enough now to not watch any of these. Because, you know, one of the things I always thought amazing about wrestling was just the intro videos that all the wrestlers had was so well produced. You know, when they were doing pay-per-views and they do the highlights and they do the recaps, the way everything's edited together, I'm like, wow, they've got such good production value.
Oh, hell yeah.
Why don't they start making movies? And they did.
See, now this is why I wanted to talk about this, because as wrestling fans, if you're a wrestling fan, wrestlers are actors. They work
to an extent,
They work on a stage. They're athletic.
The performers.
See, I always saw them as more as athletes first, but I get what you're saying. Yeah,
they're performers.
There's performers.
Because they get given a storyline, they get given a scenario to act out. Some of them are good. Some of them are not really appropriate for going on television.
Katie Vick.
You know? Yeah, Katie Vick. But at the same time, you believe that. You know, when Triple H stepped out onto the stage, it didn't matter which era you were watching him, you were like, that's the cerebral assassin. That's a badass. He's going to get a sledgehammer in a minute. He's just going to start laying people out. Because you believed in his...
He's going to bury that guy.
In Paul Levesque's acting ability to pass on this character. Yeah. And so I wanted to bring this up because there are a lot of wrestlers out there that have gone into films. And I wanted to know from the two of you, and from myself and obviously the people listening, you know, you can comment when you can. What are the good ones? And what are the bad ones? Where do you draw the line? Now, I'm going to start with the most obvious. And it's probably not the most obvious that people are thinking. I'm going to start with The Rock. I'm going to start with
So you're going to start with the biggest success story?
Bit of a success story here.
No, not a bit of the biggest success story.
And so much so
not
that
just
he
in
left
wrestling, but in
pursue
possibly
a Hollywood career.
Come on, man. Yeah. He's like literally like, what is he, the biggest grossing actor at the minute?
Yeah.
He's got to be in the top
and
few.
He was The Rock when we knew him. You know, he didn't really change that much. His characters might change
His
in front
first
of the
movie
character.
in The Scorpion King, he rocked the fucking people's eyebrows.
He did. He did.
He said in like Sanskrit or something at the start, whatever he said, translated to like, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, I'm sure. You know, it's like...
I can't make my way through The Scorpion King.
No.
I fall asleep.
No, I couldn't.
Halfway through The Scorpion King,
but you got to remember at the time, he was The Rock. They billed him as The Rock. He didn't become Dwayne Johnson for a long time.
The film is terrible because it has only loose connections to the Scorpion King story that we knew in Mummy 2. Bringing him in to the Fast and the Furious franchise, though, as Hobbs, it works for me. Well, I see in The Rock, I see a badass police officer.
I excluded this from the news section because I had a feeling that you would actually be talking about it. But you know, the Fast and the Furious has gone, 8 movies?
Yes, they're the 8th one now.
The spin-off movies are beginning.
Right.
Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson are getting their own spin-off movie series set in the Fast and Furious universe.
I'm not being funny, man, but literally, I love Dwayne Johnson. I love The Rock.
Yeah.
But fucking Jason Statham and Vin Diesel, I'm like, give me my money back. I don't want to fucking watch the movie.
Oh, come on. Jason Statham's good in The Expendables.
See, I like The Expendables too. I like The Expendables. I knew what I was getting into going into it.
Yeah. Now, like I said, The Rock's done more than the Fast and Furious series. Southland Tales.
Yeah.
It was a good movie, dude.
I have not seen
Donnie Darko, director, writer.
Yeah.
How was The Rock in it?
He was good. He played.
He had some range, dude, didn't he?
Totally. It was the film that went, look, you can do something different. Sarah Michelle Gellar at the time was still just coming off of Buffy. And it was like, look, that she's doing a different sort of character.
Had he done Welcome to the Jungle or The Rundown, depending on what market you're in before that, which was
with
fucking awesome.
It was
Welcome
American
to the Jungle,
Pie,
and Walking Tall as well.
Yeah,
I
but
think
those
they
were
both came out
kind
at
of
the same
like
time.
very much like, this is easy for him to do, I would have thought. Especially Walking Tall. Because he kind of just played good guy rock.
Yeah, he did.
Like, he adopted that persona of good guy rock in it.
That's what I mean. His rock character was already established when we watched him back in the Attitude Era. When he translated to the film, we just wanted him to be the Rock on screen.
That's what you needed,
and that's what he did.
But no, you're right. Southland Tales, he totally he flipped the script a little.
In other films, not so much. Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, so I wouldn't even watch it.
I'm not gonna
I watched it.
But it's just like
I would watch it
he
with my
signed
kid,
a contract with the studio, and the studio said, "You signed this contract, and it's like an 8-movie deal."
Yeah.
And so,
what faith are they going to have in him at that point?
Yeah.
And
so they're like, you must take this
I
role.
watched the Tooth Fairy. It was on Film 4 one day, and I was just like, you know what? It's The Rock. I love The Rock. He's the most electrifying man in sports
But
entertainment.
you're forgetting the very first film he did.
Doom.
Doom.
Which is almost a metaphor for his career.
Yes.
At that point.
Yeah, I've got Doom, and I will watch it. That's what I mean. I will watch films now with The Rock in, just because I know he can do it. Like, going back to Tooth Fairy, it's silly. It's stupid. He is wearing a pink tutu with fairy wings on the back. But at the same time, he is pulling off some really good comedy. He's actually establishing himself as this, you know...
You can't see this, but I'm giving Ian a really funny look.
This egotistical character who falls towards the later end of the movie and then comes back and helps out. Yeah, he's a hockey player.
That's what I don't buy.
He does ice skate at one point, and it does look quite realistic. But then he does fly out the window with fairy wings on.
Fuck.
Now,
it might be great for an acid trip kind of movie. It's The Rock.
Now, going from The Rock, another wrestler from the Attitude Era, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold's done it right though, I think, right? Because I'm a big fan of Stone Cold. And I love his podcast. So I listen to his podcast like every week, both his podcasts, right? And he's very much like, I think he's that kind of guy who, you know, he wanted to transition from wrestling into movies. Now I know, like, when he finished his career, it was finished on kind of a down note because it was taken away from him because of his previous neck injury.
Yes,
you know, he finished his career. He didn't know that his last match was necessarily going to be his last match, probably, you know, until he really did it.
Yeah.
So, you know, he floated around for a few years, was a big drinker and stuff by his own admission, and then he said, right, I'm going to move out to Los Angeles, I'm going to look into movies. And he's kind of gone into this level of, like, I'm going to go into Netflix movie of the week.
Yeah.
I'm the badass that walks into the bar and fucks your day up and saves the girl at the end. And he's done really well to maintain that career. And it's almost like, and now when I see a Stone Cold movie, I'm kind of like, I totally know what I'm about to get. Whereas the popcorn, turn my brain off, let's see him punch the shit out of someone. Hopefully he'll throw a suplex in there.
Or drop a stunner.
That would be the best.
When he released The Condemned, I was unsure about it because it's basically just Battle Royale. But at the same time, when you get in there...
Was that studio movie? Was that a WWE studio
That
movie?
wasn't a WWE studio movie.
Manny Bennett's in that movie, dude.
And Vinnie Jones. Vinnie Jones did it.
Yeah.
And it worked because I was pulled into the character. He did do a WWE studio movie, I think, called Damages.
Damages, right? That's a cage fighting one.
Yeah,
and that again is like
really,
the
really
badass ex-con. He's always a fucking ex-con, dude. He's like rolls into the bar, he starts bouncing. Someone's like, "You're an ass kicker," so we'll put you in the cage and stuff. Well, I mean, a lot.
He was a security guard in The Longest Yard.
Shit, I loved him in that movie.
The Longest
and
Yard.
Do you know what movie that is a guilty pleasure of mine? Another Adam Sandler, because all Adam Sandler movies are guilty pleasures. No, fuck you.
No.
Dude, in Grown Ups 2, he's friggin' hilarious.
Stone Cold is brilliant.
He's Grown in that movie, dude. When he's fucking stood on a hill at the party when there's a fight, and he's just punching people randomly as they walk past him.
Doesn't he say to Sandler halfway through the
Anyone
fight,
in proximity of Adam Sandler almost immediately becomes unfunny.
I don't know. Al Pacino and Jack and Jill had me in stitches.
Oh god.
Fucking was it like Al Pacino, Duckachino, motherfucker! Oh my god! And then but the best bit about that is at least at the end, even Al Pacino when he finishes watching the he's like, "You need to burn this."
Yeah.
He's like, "Wait, you want me to change?" He's like, "No, I need you to set this on fire." but still.
See, now that's what I mean. The Rock and Stone Cold back in the Attitude Era, they established these characters and then they take them into movies. And at first, we're like, we're not watching it. We're not watching it because we've got a history with wrestlers and movies. But they pull them off because they do what they did in front of the camera at WWE, in front of the camera in Hollywood. Hulk Hogan, though.
I loved his latest movie.
Oh dear.
His latest movie?
Yeah, motherfucker, that grossed like $128
Yeah,
million.
but it wasn't very long, was it?
I don't know. It looked about 9 or 10 inches to me.
Wasn't that the hand cam one?
Oh shit!
You know, a bit like
It
Blair
was
Witch.
scarier than Blair Witch, man. I tell you. Holy crap!
No, I'm not
When his
talking
son
about.
phoned him halfway through, I was like, "Bleh."
I'm not talking about that film. I'm not.
Oh,
I'm not
sorry.
going there. I'm
Okay.
going there.
Because I also enjoyed Paige's latest movie as well.
The first time you see him in Rocky 3,
Thunderlips. Oh,
You know, I
so
think I saw him
good.
before that though in Gremlins.
Yeah, no,
Well,
that was out
Gremlins
way
2.
after.
Was
but
he
Gremlins
turned up
2.
in Gremlins 2?
I think I
as a
saw
cameo.
Gremlins though before I saw Rocky
Oh,
3.
fair play.
So
In Rocky 3, he turns up, and it's basically, you know, art imitating life, where
Yeah.
wrestler is challenging boxer. You know, we had it with Muhammad Ali and a Japanese wrestler back in the day.
Aoki.
Yeah.
Antonio Aoki, I think it was. Something like that.
And-
Probably mispronouncing.
You know, that match is synonymous for not being the best.
No.
Taking it into film, though, Sylvester Stallone, you know, who is brilliant.
Did you? I love the Rocky movies. They're
Oh,
some
totally,
of my
yeah.
favorite
Yeah.
fucking movies.
I
So-
every
always
last
speak
one.
highly of Creed.
And-
I will even watch Rocky 5.
And
Yes,
Hulk
me too.
Hogan,
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan in that as Thunderlips, birthplace of NWO Hollywood.
Yeah, a
You
little
know,
bit,
he
man.
gets
Yes,
hit to
totally,
Hulk Hogan.
yeah.
And I mean, there's such a good, like, he told the story before about, like, you know, how it nearly didn't happen because he was constantly being told, like, you know, Sylvester Stallone's trying to get hold of you for a movie, and he assumed he was being ribbed, so he just kept ignoring it until someone at the office was like, dude, you need to phone this guy back.
Yes.
And then he went in to do it. But yeah, dude, that
See,
was awesome. Especially the way you kind of broke kayfabe in a time where you were not allowed to.
Yes.
Anyone who doesn't know, kayfabe is the protection of the business where you, like, you know, the
storyline, the
story
character.
element. These good guys are really good guys. You know, you'd have like, you know, the good guys will travel together, the bad guys will travel all together to protect kayfabe. So he kind of broke in that movie the way he was like picking him up, and his lines were like, "It's all fake and stuff."
Yeah.
And he was kind of like, and then at the end he's kind of nice, and it was almost like, so yeah,
It's
you
Hulk
are kind
Hogan.
of showing that
Because,
it's a
like I
performance,
said,
and
he would go on
yeah.
in the future to become NWO Hollywood.
But see, Hulk Hogan for me, I grew up in my childhood watching wrestling, and the three big superstars of wrestling was Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior,
Yeah.
and the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Those were the three, and that's
Randy
what kept
Savage,
me and my
dude.
brother coming back. Yeah, you had the Hearts. You know, there was a couple of others, but it was always we wanted to see Hulk Hogan
oh, dude,
versus.
we were all Hulkamaniacs. Come
Yeah,
on, let's
yeah,
go.
we're all
totally.
I was
Hulkamaniacs.
born in 1982. I'm a fucking
But
Hulkamaniac.
I tuned out of wrestling and then came back to it sort of at like I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months into the Attitude Era.
Because you were the right age.
Because
for
that
that's
time,
what it
like,
was
people
aimed
were
at.
saying, "Hey, come back to wrestling because this is happening." And I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, where's all my stars gone? Oh, I'll invest into
Yeah,
new
man.
characters." But I always remembered Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania. I had no idea about New World Order and
Yeah.
this dark version of the Hulkster, because when he came back to the WWE again, he did the NWO, and I was like, oh, this is what everyone was talking
Yeah.
about.
I don't think
But
he
it
really
wasn't
did the
long
movies either, did he?
before he
Yeah.
turned back into Hulkamania.
Oh yeah, that
and
didn't
it
take
was
long.
he
Yeah,
shed
he went
that.
back and forth.
But that's it.
Yeah.
While he's in his career at WWE, no holds barred. Probably
WWE film, man. Was
it's
it
probably
written
one
or
of the-
produced by
one of
Vince
the-
McMahon?
best Hulk Hogan movies out there.
It's fucking terrible, but I love it.
Yeah.
Dookie! That was a fucking killer line.
You know, and once again, art imitating life. He is Hulk Hogan, but he's Hulk Hogan in real life.
Dude,
you
and
know?
they brought fucking Zeus into wrestling. They brought tiny fucking Lister
Yeah.
into wrestling as Zeus and had him wrestle. You can't see it, but I'm using air quotes. Putting him into a wrestling match against fucking Hogan with Macho Man Randy Savage and Brutus the Barber Beefcake at a SummerSlam main event.
Now, is it harsh?
And he basically
just a
stood
gimmick.
there
Yeah.
and no-sold everything and yelled. It was freaking hilarious.
But is it harsh of me to say that Tiny Lister has actually gone on to have a better film career than Hulk Hogan?
Motherfucker was in
Yeah.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah. That one scene in The Dark Knight,
And
when I saw
Friday.
it was Tiny Lister, I was just like, amazing. And the way he delivers his line, the way he is, I'm like,
I'll
okay.
trivia for a second.
Yeah.
What other wrestler's movie was Tiny in?
You got me.
Yeah, I have no
Santa's
idea.
Sleigh.
Oh,
Santa's
really?
Sleigh.
Yeah, dude, he was a gas station attendant in that.
Gas station attendant.
And he
for Goldberg.
kind of almost played the character that he plays in Friday,
Devo.
where he's like, "Got to move out of the hood, man. It's too much fucking violence." All that shit. And the guy buys some gum off of him and stuff. And I was just like, "This is really weird." Like,
See, Hulk Hogan, Suburban Commando.
Totally.
That was
I
the
can
one.
still remember seeing that with my dad. I love that movie.
I still remember. Yeah,
Fucking
Christopher
Undertaker
Lloyd.
was also in it.
Undertaker's in it.
Yes.
And that's the funny thing. It's like the one movie appearance for the Undertaker, and they give him a squeaky voice.
Yeah, I was about to say, doesn't he say? He doesn't say anything in the whole film.
I can pop you the line, dude. He literally there
What's the line?
mid-fight, and he sort of he like gets hit by something. He stands up and dusts himself off, and he points at him, and you're waiting, and he just goes, "You're a dead man, Ramsey." But he says it like they just turn the fucking
Really
helium up on it,
voice.
and then and Hogan's like, "No wonder you guys never talk." I remember being in the cinema roaring for 10 minutes. My dad was staring at me like, "This kid's a fucking idiot." Like,
that's the Undertaker.
But that's it. Hulk Hogan's going up against Christopher Lloyd in that movie, and I think maybe that's why the movie
Christopher Lloyd
works
elevates,
as well.
yeah.
Because Christopher Lloyd is really, really funny.
I think they kind of did that though with a lot of those movies where they kind of they'll take the wrestler, but they're like, look, we need some credibility in the movie, so let's put an actor in it, at least one.
Now you say that brings me to my next wrestler, Roddy Piper.
Now that
in
is
They
a man.
Live.
Now that is a man who can carry a film on his own. He has the charisma of a performer that transcended wrestling into film so well. He was so charismatic and believable that it didn't matter who his co-stars were. If they were, Oscar winners or not, he was good.
Roddy Piper, you got to realize as well, is back in the day, like, going all the way through like the 70s and 80s when, just as Roddy Piper was fucking responsible for wrestling becoming what it is today because of like WrestleMania 1. WrestleMania 1 doesn't happen without having WrestleMania 1 had a fucking tag match for the main event with Mr. fucking T in it.
Yes.
And the only thing that sort of gets you there is having as good a heel as Roddy Piper, who was obviously, it's a different era in wrestler where, not like today where everything's really scripted. You know, so a lot of these older wrestlers are so good in movies as well that we enjoyed them because they were just like, there's no one better at improv.
Yeah.
Because again, they'd be like, it's not like they were sent out a script. It'd be like, probably, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, I guess, but it'd be like Roddy Piper, like, you're mad at Hogan. Off you go. It'd be like, all right. And then 30 minutes of gold would come out of his mouth.
Yeah, they improvise their own promos.
My God, I mean, you're talking about where, like, an era where people were so convinced that it was real, where fucking wrestlers would be stabbed and attacked for, like, being heels and stuff. And there was no one better than Roddy Piper, man. No one.
And that's what I mean. For me, They Live, John Carpenter's They Live is fucking phenomenal, and one of the reasons why it's absolutely phenomenal in my eyes is Roddy Piper. His presence on screen throughout that whole movie is amazing. The fight he has with Keith David in the
15-minute
fight,
oh my God,
him up and
it's like longer than some of his fucking matches.
I'm like, that's amazing. That's a brilliant fight, and yet it gets.
They redid it against Gold Dust, didn't they? In that Hollywood Backup Brawl is basically the same thing.
They overshadow. People were like, oh, I'd rather watch Hulk Hogan movies or The Rock movies or Triple H movies, and I'm like, hang on, have you never watched They Live? Oh, what's They Live? And I'm like, you're not a wrestling fan, get away from me. Just give you stuff. But then saying that, Hell Comes to Frogtown is a questionable film to get through.
Do you know what's funny is I have trouble remembering that movie. And I think it's because I blocked a lot of it out. I think I suppressed a lot of it.
Not a lot of stuff happens. It is a lot of talking.
Weird fucking movie.
One of the films I would like to see him in is Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies.
Well, I mean, you won't see that now unless he's on the other side, obviously.
He's in the film. That's what I mean. It just seems like an interesting concept. Zombies versus pro wrestlers, and it's got Roddy Piper in it.
I've never even heard of that. I thought you were pitching a movie.
No, I'm not.
That's what I mean.
This movie, I think the movie came out in 2006.
Fuck.
And it's basically just about a bunch of zombies that are raised
from
the grave.
So if Roddy Piper's in it in 2006, that's only 11 years ago. So tell me it was like at some kind of retirement home for wrestlers, which already sounds like the basis of a great movie. A retirement home for wrestlers. Like, think Bubba Hotep. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Bubba Hotep crossed with Legends House. Cross with Cockneys vs Zombies.
Fuck, I'd watch that movie.
You get a wrestler in Zimmer frame with machine gun doll. But I did want to bring up one that I know that you're a big fan of, Body Slam.
Oh, I love that movie. I killed that VHS as a kid, man. You got Roddy Piper, Tonga Kid, the I can never pronounce it, the Samoan family, the big Rocks and Roman Reigns family, the IOD, I can't fucking pronounce it. Yeah. Both of them in there as the Samoans.
Freddie Blassie's in it.
Ric Flair, Bruno Sammartino, Dirk Benedict is like a promoter who just starts managing. I can't remember how it comes about because it's been years since. He comes about as a sort of failing music promoter who starts promoting wrestling, sees it as an opportunity, and then he crosses it by having music performances. And they kind of tour the country, taking on local talents. Like at one point, they're in this like shitty town in probably Texas or something, and they take on guys in dungarees, and one's really skinny, and the fat one just comes and starts beating the fuck out of them. But then like they fight. Like these guys that are like pseudo like road warriors, managed by Lou Albano as well. There's a shit ton of wrestlers in this movie, and eventually, that spoilers, they go on and win the big fight. And Roddy Piper's got his daughter there who he's trying to take through. It's such a fun movie.
It's a good wrestling movie.
Yes, dude. Well, again, it's awful, but I love it.
Better than No Holds Barred.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna put that in the category of a good wrestling movie, then yeah, you know what I mean.
Well, I am curious. I do want to see Body Slam. Dude, I've never even heard of it either.
YouTube it, man. It's like it's a fun movie. I really enjoyed it as a kid. I'll probably watch it now and be like, I was an idiot.
Brings me to my next wrestler actor, who's done quite well for himself, but just the material around him, like we said with previous superstars, Dave Batista.
Oh no, he could go on. But he could go on to have the same career as The Rock has if you give him the time, because he's done the same sort of start. But fuck Drax, man.
Yes, I can't wait for Guardians.
Oh my God,
he's so
earlier. Good.
He is so good, but I've not seen him in anything else.
Which James Bond movie was he in?
Spectre.
That movie sucked so much ass hard, but he was good in it.
No.
It's terrible, dude.
Spectre is good if you're using it to tie off all the loose ends. Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace. And
Daniel Craig.
Skyfall was in
Daniel Craig put in more effort in that voiceover in Star Wars.
Those 3 films all get their loose stories tied away in Spectre. Dave Batista is just this kind of silent assassin. I mean, there's this one scene I always remember him where you got these 2 assassins stood in front of the head general.
How's he die again? I remember he either had an epic death or a really shit one.
I think it's something
Spoilers,
like
he dies.
Bond crashes like a car into him.
And he does this kind of stop. He stops for a second, doesn't he? And does a kind of like, shit. Something like that. Like...
But the opening scene where he comes in, he stood there with this other assassin, and the leader of the Spectre group's just like, okay, show me what you can do. You've got like 24 hours. And Dave Bautista just grabs the other assassin, slams his head off the table, and just destroys him and goes, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Well,
so
is that what he's going to do in the future of his career? Because as far as I can see, he can do comedy very well. So what is the future of him as a comedian?
That's what I was about to bring up. His future is the remake Kickboxer movie.
Yeah, yes, dude. And I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to watch it.
Dude, I've got it.
I'm saving it for like a New Year's Day movie. I cannot wait.
I
love Van Damme. I love Kickboxer, and I quite like Batista.
So you won't. Yeah, but that's it. You won't care how Batista delivers his character. You just want to see Van Damme in a kickboxing movie.
He's in a movie with another Van Damme though.
Is he?
He's in a movie with Rob Van Damme as well, isn't he? Out of town, something.
Yeah. I didn't write that one on the list.
Didn't even make the list.
That one didn't make the list. What did make the list though was Riddick. I mean,
never watched it. Fuck Vin Diesel. Next.
The third Pitch Black movie. Even though it's a remake, I feel, of Pitch Black, where they're just on this alien planet and there's a bunch of
much more developed than that.
He's just this badass bounty hunter, which then connects me with Drax. I'm like, that's why I like you. You're basically doing Drax. You're basically being Batista.
I forgot that he was actually in the third film.
Yeah, he kicks the father of the original bounty hunter. He kicks his bike into a ravine, and then Vin Diesel's like, "I'm gonna kill you." It's just like
all I remember is I enjoyed the first 30 minutes because it was just Vin Diesel on his own.
Yeah,
and then I was like, you know what, he's good enough to carry 30 minutes of the film with no other actors, and I'm
that
sold.
Sounds like my nightmare.
So...
The thing is though, with Batista though, with Drax, something that a lot of people miss is like, you can say like, oh, he can do comedy, obviously he can do the action bit because like, the boy's stacked, isn't he? But a lot of people miss is Drax is autistic. Drax is on the fucking spectrum, dude, and he plays it really well.
He's not autistic.
He's an alien race.
He's
just an alien race who takes everything legitimately.
Dude, yeah, but if you sort of like quantify that into like what as we've seen ourselves, he has got that kind of like character of like there are a lot of people that would identify.
He doesn't seem very smart.
So what you're saying?
I'm going to go that way, dude.
So what you're saying to me is that if they released a movie and I'm throwing 2 movies from my shelves again into
Here he goes.
right? Dave Batista in an I Am Sam remake. Do you think he'd do well?
Yeah, if he had the Drax makeup on.
Drax.
I am Drax.
Oh no.
Hashtag I am Drax. Make it happen.
Okay. My next wrestler from the Attitude Era, and I know you two, Gary and Andy, are massive fans of this guy. Triple H.
Triple H is the only reason I kept watching wrestling.
Yeah.
Love Triple H.
As soon as I saw his first appearance and everyone was booing him, I was like, okay, I'm supposed to believe this guy's the bad guy. He went into the match and he jobbed for someone and lost. But I was like, that was the best match I saw. That was the best match I saw all night. And I was like, why did everyone boo him? That was a great performance.
That was a great performance,
I kept watching him and he kept developing this character.
That
and it
speaks
changed.
to how good he is then, to use the gimmick that, because I mean, I'm assuming you would have probably saw him when he come in as like the blue blood of Greenwich.
Yeah.
Yes,
like the
yeah.
Hunter
Hunter, yes,
Helmsley.
the posh British gentleman.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. You know, and so that speaks volumes that you can go like, this guy looks awesome. He's really cool, and everyone's booing him. It's like.
But it was
Yeah.
his in-ring performance.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah,
like the character. I was like, nah, okay, I can see why he's being booed. But he was a performer in the ring, totally. And and then the Triple H character that developed,
Yeah.
kept me
the
watching
game.
wrestling. But he can't do acting outside of playing a
Blade 3, dude. Oh my
Blade
god.
Trinity, I was
Blade
bringing
3 should have been the end of a lot of people's
Fuck.
careers.
And then
You
what was
know,
it, the Chaperone that he did as
The
well?
Chaperone and Inside Out, both from WWE Studios.
I haven't seen Inside Out. That was one that
I haven't
was it
seen The
Randy Orton?
Chaperone.
I think Randy Orton was supposed to be in Inside Out, and then he got in a bit of trouble. Like Randy
No,
Orton
he
does,
was supposed to be in the Marine 3. Randy
There was
Orton.
a
Oh
third
yeah,
one?
but then because
There
he
are
actually
5
got
Marine
Dude,
movies.
Miz is doing it, but no, it's because he was dishonorably discharged in
Yeah,
real, in
and
real
the
life,
Marines,
and they
and the
kicked
Marines
off.
were kicking
Someone
off.
else was supposed to do Inside Out though, and it got put. It might have been Punk. Maybe that was the movie that Punk was supposed to do.
But this is it. I mean, we talk about, like we said, Stone Cold
Yeah, but
Steve Austin,
I mean, he doesn't need to do shit. He's married into the family now, dude. He's
Stone Cold Steve
he's
Austin
literally gonna own that
and
company.
The Rock have managed to take their characters onto the big screen and work with them.
No, but there's
Triple
a
H
difference
hasn't
there.
had that chance. Does the
No,
Triple
no.
H character from WWE not transfer to the
No,
camera?
the thing you got to realize with Triple H is that, and I know loads of people. Like, I'm not going to deny the whole fucking like running roughshod, burying every wrestler for like the 2000s and everything like that. I know, but
Yeah.
all I'm saying is with those The Rock and Stone Cold and Batista, they purposely wanted to move into acting. Triple H doesn't. He lives for the wrestling business now. That's why he's COO in real life.
Well,
he's married into business. He runs
He
NXT.
stepped away from the film entertainment and just
Yeah, exactly.
stayed.
Do you not think that he could just? I'm not. It's fucking Triple H. He walks into the office and goes, "What are your next 10 WWE movies you're making?" Here you go. I'm going to be in all of them. They're going to be like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, but he's
'cause you're
smarter
fucking
than that,
so-
isn't he?
No,
He's
no, I
smarter
don't
than
think he's
that.
smarter than that. It's because he just doesn't want to do it. Why would he? He's a fucking wrestler, dude.
That's what I mean. He's
You know,
smarter
he's-
than that. He's like, he's always said, especially in all of his documentaries that we've watched, Triple H's mindset is the business, is the wrestling business. Yeah. He's been there since the start. He's honed his craft. He wants to keep it going for future generations.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And when somebody comes along and says, we want you to be in our film, he's like any actor, he'll look at the script and go, yes, this works for me, or no, this doesn't work. I personally haven't seen The Chaperone, so I don't know how that works. And the same for Inside Out. But it brings me to one of his clique buddies, Kevin Nash.
Oh man, he's done some great. Kevin Nash is such a good like bit part actor. It's like literally as if like John Wick couldn't be any better.
Yeah,
like
Kevin
John
Nash
Wick is one of the
in it.
greatest movies of all time. I don't care what anyone's say, but as soon as it's like Mr. Wick, I'm like, that's fucking Kevin Nash, yo.
At the same time,
And Shredder
playing the Super Shredder in the second Turtles movie. The second Turtles movie.
Although who really knows? Maybe it was him.
The second Turtles movie is pretty bad, but still, that Super Shredder moment at the end, even though it lasts for about 15 seconds, is still pretty badass.
Technically,
Yeah.
if you really want to twist the scale of what we're saying,
Okay.
not the only wrestler in that movie, because Vanilla Ice was involved with wrestling at one point, and Vanilla Ice is totally in that movie,
Yeah,
dude.
but he's
Never
not a
let that
wrestler.
die.
He's not in the business. I mean, Kevin Nash, The Punisher with Thomas Jane.
Oh, dude, there's fucking the Swede.
Yeah.
Which I can never forget. Was it Heartbreak Ridge? So sweet. Like he comes in that big as well.
Whenever I see
he takes that pan of water.
Whenever I see him in the Punisher, it always makes me think of Oz from WCW.
Oh,
whenever
with the
he used
fucking,
to take off that mask
and he had
stand
his eyes
there all
rolled back
crazy
and
with the
shit.
big blonde hair.
Yeah.
That's when I see him walk into the room, and I'm like, Thomas Jane, just take out his quad.
Yeah,
it'd be really easy.
Don't even take it out. Just make him run at you. You'll be fine. He'll never make it across that room.
But he's done others. I mean, 2 films that I'm hoping that nobody ever requests us to do and pays us money to do.
Don't say it then.
Magic Mike and Magic Mike XXL.
Is he in both of them?
He's in both of them.
See, I didn't know because I've not seen him. Do you know what's really funny is after we were talking the other night, the first one, is it, the second one's XXL, it's not like 1 and 2,
the second
right?
one's XXL.
So the first one just landed on Netflix,
right?
And I was like, if Kevin Nash is in that, I thought he was only in the second one because I remember seeing the poster and he's on the poster.
Yes.
But he's in both of them.
He's in both of them.
Alright, I'll watch that fucking movie.
In both of them, from what I gather, because it's a shame to actually admit this, but I have wikied both stories.
Oh god!
Just because I was bored one night. It was on fucking TV.
Pornhub was down.
Oh god! So you went to Magic Mike Wikipedia.
But the thing is, Channing Tatum's character in Magic Mike is obviously looking to make this money and starts doing this performance to make the money for it. That's what the basis of the
How
story
many
is.
minutes in does he just start blowing guys on the strip?
None.
So I'm assuming it's like Boogie Nights?
But
Kevin
Kevin Nash is playing the aging male stripper and is
obviously
teaching him these stories. And I like that idea. I haven't seen it myself, but I think Kevin Nash could actually do that. He's been in the business for a long time.
In Rock of Ages.
I haven't seen it. Is it any good?
No, it's fucking terrible. I have a wife,
so is that Tom Cruise?
Yeah, dude, he plays one of his bodyguards. He sings in it.
Really?
Kevin Nash sings a line of "Wanted Dead or Alive" by Bon Jovi.
Oh no!
Yeah, you think that, dude?
Shit.
That's not bad considering that Tom Cruise sings the rest of it.
Oh god, that's why I have not seen this.
Do you know what? Actually, I just realized something that we skipped, and I've got to mention it because we're talking about wrestlers and movies, and you want to talk about good ones.
Okay.
And we talked about The Rock.
Yeah.
Moana is one of my favourite movies of all time. I'm just going to put
that's
that
the
out.
animated Hawaii movie. Yeah.
Fucking love that movie. So
Cool.
I mean, again, me and the kid. If you got in my car right now and took cancer bats out of my stereo, Moana is in the glove box, and me and the kid will sing it. But dude, he is so good in that movie. That whole movie's phenomenal. And
see, now does he play?
He plays the demigod
Rock
Maui.
Being Maui,
no,
or is it Maui?
That's the thing. It's a great performance, and he plays. I mean, obviously. Samoan, comes from the Samoan dynasty, he's involved in the history, so him playing... I mean, I'm not being funny, if you actually told me that he is the demigod Maui, I'd be like, I buy it.
Yeah,
Look at the fucking size of him.
Yeah.
But, no, dude, he's great. Obviously, it's voice acting and stuff, but he's phenomenal in that, and he plays a very varied, scale of, he's the typical... Everyone loves The Rock, he's got the Hollywood smile, and he's the good guy, but there's points in that movie where he's a selfish prick.
Yeah, yes.
And he plays it really well. And the other one as well that I want to say about good or bad, I enjoy it. But for a different performance by The Rock, watch Pain and Gain.
Yes, I enjoyed that.
I've heard
I
good
fucking
things
like
about
that
that's
movie,
Mark
dude.
Wahlberg again.
Yeah, and The Rock is friggin' hilarious in that movie. He's he's so off the wall.
See, we've jumped back to The Rock. The funny thing is, I want to see him in Central Intelligence.
Yeah,
that movie's great.
I really enjoyed him in Planet 51, voice acting again in an animated movie.
Well, see, Central Intelligence is a similar performance, I guess, to Pain and Gain, where he plays this, kind of weird, it's just a strange character. And again, it sounds funny, but almost on the spectrum, this kind of weird, socially awkward guy who happens to be able to beat 7 bells of shit out of anyone. And it's do you remember that fucking movie back in the day, that Cage movie with Lou Ferrigno in, where he played the Vietnam vet and he got shot in the head and he ended up with obviously brain damage.
Man, you're going back far now.
I know, dude, but some guy gets hold of him because it's Lou Ferrigno, it's fucking Hulk, and puts him in cage fighting, and it's like watching a 5-year-old in Lou Ferrigno's body have to fight dudes in a cage, and you're like, this is fucking harrowing.
Damn.
Lou Ferrigno cage fighting.
It's that kind of performance where he's The Rock in Central Intelligence, he's is The Rock, who's built like a brick shit house, and he's wearing t-shirts with fucking unicorns on him and stuff, and you're like, he's so fucking sweet. But then someone starts on his friend in a bar and he takes 3 guys apart. Yeah, it's a fucking great performance, dude. He is the best. I need to watch a Rock movie when I get home.
See, it brings me to another WCW star, and one of my personal favorites from back in the day, Diamond Dallas Page.
Bang!
Ready to Rumble is probably my all-time favourite wrestling movie and
Wrestling's
trumps
not
the wrestler. It's not fake! It's not fake! Don't care!
Oh, fuck David
I've laughed and cried and bled and whatever.
I love that movie.
Ready to Rumble is amazing. And the fact that not only is he playing Diamond Dallas Page and it's just so easy for him to do it, but to then see DDP in The Devil's Rejects playing a bounty hunter. Yeah, frightening.
Yeah,
He's in a couple of shots, but he is intimidating. He is scary.
Especially, everyone knows DDP a lot more now through DDP Yoga. He's out there as himself, and you're like, the guy has started a company to help his friends. Initially, DDP Yoga was developed to help like wrestlers, like everyone knows. Yeah. If you've not seen Resurrection of Jake Snake, watch that fucking movie.
And Scott Hall.
And Scott Hall, obviously. So we know, like, DDP's a nice guy, man. We just saw him inducted into Hall of Fame at WrestleMania.
Yes. Yeah.
To see him in that movie was like, holy shit.
Doesn't
like,
he shoot Sid Haig's girlfriend?
Yeah, dude.
She gets up and he just shoots her and
right
he stands there laughing with the music playing. You're like, that's a scary motherfucker.
That's a brutal scene.
But I didn't want to see a diamond cutter. It would have been nice to see a Sid Haig with the diamond cutter.
Obviously.
Goldberg.
Prick. Fucking, I'm sorry.
I don't know if I've seen any of his movies.
I don't like Goldberg.
Santa Slays.
Okay,
dude, I love watching that movie at Christmas. I'm just, as a wrestling fan, fuck Goldberg. He's terrible. I'm sorry, but...
And ultimately, I mean, I'm a big fan of Santa Slays. The Longest Yard, once again, we're back on Adam Sandler movies. Right? The Longest Yard.
At least though that's a fucking remake, obviously, of The Longest Yard.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds is even in it. Come on, Great Khali is in that movie.
It's a brilliant movie. In fact, you've got Goldberg in it. You've got Stone Cold Steve Austin. You've got Kevin Nash as well. You've got Adam Sandler and Chris Rock. You've got Cisco. No, it's not Cisco. It's
Nelly.
That's
sorry.
right.
Name another black rapper. Sorry.
Jaro DMC. Yeah. Good movie. I like it because Goldberg is being himself. He's being a tank. And Goldberg's always been a tank. 141.
Well, they bring him onto the field and they're like, you can do a spear, right? He's like, there is literally 2 things I can do and that's one of them. Okay. Well, spear these guys. I mean, to be like, don't fuck about. He was a very successful player in the NFL. I'm not taking anything away from him at all. Like, I mean, I haven't got the problem with Goldberg that a lot of people. Oh, he didn't pay his dues and everything. I'm like, look, no. He paid his dues in the NFL. The boy's an athlete, I'm not going to fuck with that. Cannot wrestle a day in his life. I know he took advantage. I'm not belittling him for his success. He was a great success story for the Power Plan in WCW and them. He's the only legitimate star that WCW ever made from scratch. Terrible fucking
He doesn't
wrestler,
actually sell his moves that very well
doesn't
in the ring. And does that translate to him being an actor? Because like we said, Triple H, The Rock, Kevin Nash, they can sell in the ring, sell in front of the camera at WWE, sell the characters that they're trying to sell in front of the camera in Hollywood.
I mean, all he's got to do is take the roles
and
that
like
fit.
You said,
like in Santa Slay, he's got about, to be fair, over the entirety of the movie, he's got about 12 lines.
Yeah, but as long as Goldberg, I mean, he was in Universal Soldier, The Resurrection as well. I'm pretty sure in Universal Soldier...
You remember those elevator doors open and you're like, fuck.
And The Longest Yard. And Santa Slays. I'm pretty sure he spears people in those. So is that the only thing he can do?
Yeah.
As long as he spears somebody in his film, the film's okay.
Dude, Santa Slay, that fight scene in the strip club, I'll give him that. That was his best match.
Yes.
Goldberg versus... fucking 4 security guards and 9 strippers was his best match.
See, I didn't know nothing about Goldberg, but that would explain why his and Lesnar's WrestleMania match and build up to it was perhaps the most disappointing thing I'd seen in wrestling.
I mean, I'll be honest. I know
that.
Okay. I know we're talking about him in films, but if you want to do that, like, don't get me wrong. Yeah, WrestleMania 20 is one of the worst matches of all time. It's terrible.
Yeah.
The recent one, okay. This is what I will say.
Yeah.
They played it perfectly. They went, let's give them 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They need to get Lesnar to get his heat back. They put in a great spot with the leapfrog. Showed off Lesnar. Didn't damage Goldberg. Like, as much as I'm like, fuck Goldberg, I'm like, you've still got to protect him and stuff.
Yep.
And, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I'll go for another 2 hours about them killing the title by putting it on people like that.
No,
I'm not going to. But for that, I thought they played it perfectly. That match was... I enjoyed that match.
The most recent WrestleMania... It was their way. I always felt that them meeting at WrestleMania was their way of saying to the fans, look, we apologise for that other match.
It was a little bit.
But I don't take anything away from them from WrestleMania 20. WrestleMania 20, that was the fans' fault.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No,
that
it
was the
wasn't.
fans' fault for not letting them be themselves in the
fuck that,
ring.
dude. I'm sorry.
When we found out Brock Lesnar was leaving to go UFC, and we found out Goldberg was leaving, to stand there and boo them and sing na 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 hey goodbye.
Have you seen a wrestler called Roman Reigns?
Yes, yes,
Well,
yes. I can't wait for his film.
Yeah. I hope he's in the next Mummy. No, but the thing is, dude, like with respect to that, it's like the fans are there and they're gonna cheer and boo and do whatever they want. The night after WrestleMania on the Raw is always ridiculous, right? You can take your best over face and they will get booed because that's what they do, and it's also the fans' right to do that. They paid their money, they come say what they want. Shouldn't affect the performers in the ring. You should not have Brock Lesnar flipping off the crowd, going, yeah, I'm leaving. You should not have them staring at each other going, well, they're not into it, so we're going to make the shit. Fucking Austin couldn't make that work. You had Austin in the ring who at one point literally walked up to him and was like, will you two please fight each other?
Yeah, just fight each other.
But I don't put the blame on the fans for that, so that was their fault. Movies.
Coming to my last wrestler, right? Now, this one is pretty golden. Jesse the Body Ventura.
Love him.
Well, yeah.
Love everything about him.
The first thing that comes to your mind is Predator.
It's Predator.
You know?
It's Predator. How he... Jesse the Body Ventura has just been himself pretty much throughout his whole career. When he was in the ring, when he was the commentator, then all of a sudden he's in the jungle with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he outshone Schwarzenegger.
Payback time.
Forget about all the production trouble that they had with that movie. Anyway, Blaine with the minigun, he not only set up kind of the folklore for Predators aiming for the biggest guy with a weapon, but like I said, outshone Schwarzenegger by Schwarzenegger going, I don't know what to do, and Blaine stood there with a minigun like, I'm gonna kill everything.
Yeah.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Oh man, what a badass line. I ain't got time to bleed.
This will turn you into a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. And stuck in like an Alabama tick.
It translates so good as well when you get to the Running Man as well.
Yeah.
Because he's
He
there.
comes in and all that shit and he's like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
He's doing.
It was like, how many times did Vince McMahon put him in a shit gimmick and he did the same thing? Like, I ain't doing it.
And you're just like, Jesse the Body Ventura took his character, or didn't even take his character. Jesse the Body Ventura was himself.
It's turned up to 11. That's the best
turned up
wrestler.
to
The
11.
best wrestlers' characters, like you say, like Triple H and stuff, I believe is great for it. It's just take their personality and just turn it up to 11 and go.
Yeah.
Steve Austin, that's the best example of it.
I do want to see Jesse the Ventura in Abraxas Guardian of the Universe.
I've not seen that.
Neither have I.
Abraxas sounds like some kind of industrial cleaner.
I've heard the synopsis for this, but for those listening, Ian, give the synopsis for this.
Wait, when was this made?
I gotta admit, I didn't read the synopsis. As soon as I saw the title, I was just like, I want to find out about this movie, but I have another bunch of wrestlers to look up. But I'm coming back, Abraxas. So I'm waiting for the audience who's still listening to comment if Abraxas is a good movie or not.
If you've ever even heard of it.
If you've ever heard of it, if Jesse the Ventura is a good part in this movie. Is he Abraxas? Is he the Guardian of the Universe? Has he got time to bleed during the film? These are the things I need to know because I haven't got around to watching it yet.
I hope it was made last year.
No,
and it's Jesse Ventura, weed advocate, all round awesome dude in it, and he just walks in. He's like, fuck everyone.
It's the 80s, and I'm pretty sure it's before Predator. So I'm just like, that's questionable.
Is this possibly like his stint at trying to be a leading man, like as in it's on him?
His
like,
transition.
Whereas Predator obviously was like a a supporting actor. Like,
this is it. I need to.
We need to know.
I need to find this stuff out.
Shelfers, please let us know. We need to know this.
See, now that being the end of the section of wrestlers going into Hollywood, now I'm bringing it to WWE stepping into Hollywood. WWE Studios.
Right on.
Them making their films. Okay? Now, when you're a wrestling fan, and like we said, we've just gone over that whole segment of seeing wrestlers in movies and questioning, do we want to watch it or not? Are we just drawn to it because they're the wrestler?
Yeah, do you think there's a lot? I mean, let's face it. There's a lot of bad movies on that list.
There's a lot of bad movies.
Pretty much all of them were like, yeah, it's a good movie. I enjoyed watching that.
The performances were good. So now,
I think especially when you're a kid and you see a wrestler in a movie, as a wrestling fan, you're like, oh my god, that's a wrestler in that movie.
When you bring it to WWE Studios, you know,
There's a lot of dick punches.
They are molding the film kind of around their character. Yeah, now the first one I bring up is Kane.
Yeah.
In See No Evil and See No Evil 2.
This was what put me straight off the WWE network of films. Immediately, all the alarm bells went off when I watched it, and I was like, "This is so awful!" Like this film was written by the writers of the WWE fucking show.
Dude.
Yeah,
you know, it was on the same level.
If you think that the movies were bad, imagine as a wrestling fan when they incorporated that into his character.
Oh yeah. See,
and they did vignettes on the set where it was like that you had the director yelling "cut" when he was say strangling the actors, and he wouldn't stop, and they had to bring people in to stop him, and the actors were pretending like he's a fucking madman. What
threw me off was when they would have interviews with the guy who is Kane at the film set, and then you watch him walk out, and he does the flames, and I'm like, you used to be the Undertaker's brother.
You used to talk with a voice box.
You used to talk with a voice box. Now you're doing movies, and I'm kind of feeling like we're back with Isaac Yankem again. You know? And this is it. When you come to John Cena. John Cena, he did the Marine.
You got to put a pin in this.
Rounds.
You got to put a pin in this.
Right.
Because... I'm sorry. I mean, I'll let you go through the list. But again, WWE studio movies, and he plays his part, doesn't he? And I'm sure you'll say each of them. They're made for him.
I don't know. I've never seen a Cena movie.
Well, I mean, if you imagine how Cena is the poster boy for WWE, he has been for the last 10 years. Those are the kind of movies they put. He's never going to play the rapist. Just saying. But he's now taken time off.
Yeah.
To pursue his Hollywood career. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can do what... And he's been in a couple of Hollywood movies. Like he was in that movie with Amy Schumer where he fucks Amy Schumer.
Yes,
Trainwreck?
Yeah, Trainwreck, yeah.
And, I mean, I don't know what
he's stepping out of his boundaries.
He is, so it'll be interesting to see.
There was a WWE movie that I really wanted to see.
Was that one where he played his brother? He was teaching his brother to wrestle?
Legendary.
Legendary,
he was teaching his brother to be a high school wrestler. I haven't seen it. But from what I gather, obviously it's still John Cena.
Does play an ex-con in that, actually.
That is true.
Don't think he raped anyone.
12 rounds, I've got to admit, was quite fun. And the Marine was saved by Robert Patrick. But then again, we are watching John Cena running around, beating the crap out of everybody. Is it again, like we said with the old wrestlers, are we just waiting for him to pull off an AA on somebody?
This is the worst part of the WWE studios, I've just realised. Like with Kane, they pull the movies into the wrestling. So ever since John Cena was in the ring, what did he start doing? Comes out, he does the salute. You know, he's like, all of his WrestleMania entrances, he come out with like 1,000 Marines or something. Like,
yeah, but they've always done that. Like we said, with no...
I know, but is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It's neither, because like we said back in the day when you had no holds barred bringing in Tiny Lister, it was promotion for the film. When you had it with Rocky 3,
fucking Hogan didn't become Rip.
When you bring in Rocky 3 and Mr. T into WrestleMania 1, it's good promotion. So they use all this promotion.
He was great in that movie, wasn't he?
To promote not only the film, but they also use it to promote the star. WCW dropped the ball when they obviously gave the title to David Arquette. I had to drop that in there when David Arquette, when they were promoting,
dude,
Ready to Rumble
to this day, you listen to him, he will defend the shit out of that.
I'm not.
He really does.
You give me another 3-hour podcast, I'll tell you what I think about Vince Russo, Jim Cornette, and the rest of them. Big Show in The Waterboy.
Oh,
shoot, Mr. B.
Coming back to Sandler.
Adam Sandler.
Dude, Adam Sandler loves some wrestling. You see him at a lot of shows, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, he was funny. He was only in a tiny bit, but he was funny in that movie.
He was funny in that, and I do really want to watch Knucklehead. WWE Studios.
It's not great.
Is it not good?
Alright, shit. I mean, I lowballed you with it. It's not great, but I think he fights a bear and the video goes viral.
Fuck the Big Show.
Couldn't even watch it baked. It was so fucking bad. Like, just.
I don't know. It's got to be better than the fight I saw with Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk. He was in a medieval film and he punches a bear into space. I think it was Hercules from 1997.
Hercules in New York or something?
No, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh yeah, of course.
Lou Ferrigno punches a bear into space. That was pretty good. But Big Show doesn't do
I'm going to punch you now, bear. Bang. I'm watching that movie.
Terry, watch that clip.
Terry Funk. In Roadhouse.
Oh, dude, Roadhouse. Such a good movie.
And I'm throwing this out there for our good friend Tom. Paradise Alley with Sylvester Stallone. Where it's an arm wrestling competition. Terry Funk.
Oh, you mean Over the Top?
Is that Over the Top?
Over
yeah,
the Top
Over
is
the
the
Top.
arm wrestling one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's also in Paradise Alley with Sylvester Stallone. Terry Funk can act. That guy's like 107 years old.
You know, I love
ECW
about Terry Funk is that
retirement
voice.
champion.
He's got this amazing voice where it's like, you see, especially in Roadhouse, he's really big in Roadhouse. And obviously, I mean, the funny thing is, like, when a wrestler isn't big in wrestling terms, they're still bigger than you. So you put him in a movie next to normal people and he looks that much bigger.
Yeah, next to
and
Patrick
it's like,
Swayze.
he walks up looking huge and his voice is like, oh, okay, Patrick, we're on this bar. Like, he's got this really soft-spoken voice. It's hilarious. I fucking love me some Terry Funk, man.
I love him in Roadhouse. I mean, I love him as this ultimate villain, and the fact that, you know, we're talking this guy. He had an underground territorial wrestling career. You know, he goes into these bit part movies, which.
Some of the most violent matches of all time.
He's in movies,
tearing it up
arm wrestling, and Sylvester Stallone, and in Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze. They're underground cult classics, which bring you back to his matches with, like you said,
Roadhouse.
Mick Foley in Japan with the death matches. Those are amazing. How many times is that guy retired from ECW? It's just legendary.
I think he wrestled from last week. Pretty sure. No one knows. It was him and his dog in his back garden. He's just crazy. He just walks around. He just power bombs everything he sees. He walks down in the morning, just pile drives his kids just because he's mad now. Like
Vince McMahon, I was very surprised to find this out. Vince McMahon was in The Wrestler from 1974, and I want to review this, Gary.
Okay, I've not heard of this film. I didn't know Vince had actually appeared.
We did The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. How did we not bring up the fact that there's a wrestler from 1974? The fact that this story as well for this film follows an aging wrestler who doesn't want to drop the title because he still wants to be the big hero, but knows his body can't keep up with it. Mm-hmm. They've got the whole background territorial stories. You've got Vince McMahon playing himself, wanting to buy this guy for this massive
to keep promoting him.
It's the Vern. Basically, don't they do a reenactment of the meeting he supposedly had with Vern Gagne?
Yeah, for WrestleMania. You know, because he's building up this champion to be the main event.
When he's going around
his big wrestling show, which is WrestleMania 1. I'm like, this movie sounds amazing. How have I never heard about it? Being a wrestling fan like I am, how have I never heard of this?
It speaks to one of the most important events in wrestling, which was him buying up all those territories and becoming WWF as we know it now.
But we watch all the WWE stuff. How come they never bring it up? How come they never use it to say,
pretty fucking terrible movie, dude. To be honest.
But is it? When was the last time you watched it?
Oh, fucking hell. I watched it a few years back I watched it on YouTube or something.
Better than No Holds Barred?
Well, I mean...
Putting in that category again.
Fuck. Throw a dart at a movie and you're probably going to find one better than No Holds Barred. Well, no, I would say I enjoyed No Holds Barred more because it had Hulk Hogan in, and then when I watched it, I was a Hulkamaniac. So every time I watch it, it just brings me back to what's the name of the villain in that. You know, he's been in loads of shit, isn't he? The guy who played the villain.
That guy.
He's I can't remember his name.
Yeah, that guy's been in a lot.
I remember even when I watched it as a kid, and when he dies at the end by backing up into a bunch of speakers.
Yeah, we're talking about the mayor's assistant from Ghostbusters 2. That guy.
Yes, thank you. That guy. But he when I was a kid, I was like, holy fuck! All he did was stand next to a bunch of stereos, and it killed him.
Yeah.
That's all he does. He backs up. So it taught me it fucking taught me a valuable life lesson. Like, I wouldn't walk next to a fucking speaker for like 3 years.
So now I've gone over my big list.
But Vince has been in more than just The Wrestler.
Well, we're going to do this now. Right, we're going to do this now. I'm going to bring this up now. Documentaries are not films.
Fuck you.
They are not films because they haven't been released in cinemas. You're counting...
Okay, by that... Neither of any of these on your fucking WWE Studios list.
Partially.
Whatever.
Partially. You know, we're talking...
I'm going to say that Beyond the Mat, I believe, did have a cinema run. I could be wrong, but I think it did.
See, now, Beyond the Mat is... When we're talking about documentaries that teach you background information on something that you've been following for so long, that makes it more of a documentary than a film. When you look at something with John Cena and the Marine, you don't fully believe that John Cena is a Marine going to save his girlfriend. But when you watch Beyond the Mat, you fully believe Mick Foley is sat there talking about how his ear was torn off, and you see footage of it. It tells you.
But I still count that as a film, though. But all right, well, in that respect, then he's also in Wrestling with Shadows, and that's based on a fictitious event.
The Montreal Screwjob, yes, is a fictitious event. One of the greatest fictitious events.
The greatest fucking like story in wrestling history, and he's in that.
Yeah.
I don't believe for a minute he didn't fucking sell that bullshit punt. That walk he does at the end is like that was when the McMahon walk was born.
Yes.
You know?
I want to see Surf's Up too, to see if McMahon does the walking with the penguin.
Yeah, dude. I tell you what, they're all really great in. Is that Camp WWE on the network?
Camp WWE on the network is brilliant.
And also, is it the Edge and Christian show that totally reeks of awesomeness? Vince McMahon plays himself, obviously, in it. And just, to be fair to him, he completely rips the piss out of himself. He comes in and he's like, they pause him with a remote and he just stands there. And they start doing weird shit to him and stuff. And he just lets them do it. It's funny as hell.
See, that's what I mean. We're going back again to people like The Rock and Steve Austin. When they've got their character established in front of the camera at WWE, they can be themselves when you take that character and translate it to film. When you take the wrestler and say, I want you to be this, that's where it starts to get questionable, because you can't see past that guy. You know, we can believe The Rock is a football coach in Gridiron Gang, you know? But we can't believe he's the Tooth Fairy?
I mean, like I said, he's the most successful one because he's probably out of all of them, he's the best actor. That's why he could have the career he had after coming in as Rocky Maivia to chance of Die Rocky Die, and turn the crowd around to the point where, like, if you pop that music at any event now, the roof is coming off that building.
But I say the same thing with Dave Batista. You know, when he can go for a whole match being called Blue Tista, you know, but then pull off Drax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Absolutely, like, if it weren't for the fact that, I mean, they probably can't afford to get the rights to that, but you know, Vince McMahon was like, if you let me make him wrestle as Drax,
oh my
god,
paint him green.
I'd be like, look, I know we all suspend our reality to watch wrestling, but we're gonna have to go deep on this one. But it's gonna be worth it. Because Drax is gonna fight Roman Reigns.
WWE
oh man, totally. That would be great. Braun Strowman comes out, no one can take me on. Comes out, give him the fucking swords as well. Who cares?
Well, that's gonna bring us to the end of this segment of the podcast. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back answering your questions. Welcome back, everyone, to the third part of the podcast where we're going to be answering your questions.
Yes.
And we'll start with Aaron J, who asks, here's my question for
Aaron.
What up?
Here's my question for the next podcast. What are your desert island discs?
See, now I'm going to assume he means by music. You know, what music we would listen to primarily.
Yes, obviously.
Well,
I instantly thought, what film would it?
He thought film.
Yeah,
so
like,
that completely threw me
because
off.
it's a disc.
Okay, Desert Island disc. Favorite music, Jimi Hendrix for me.
You take Jimi Hendrix.
I take Jimi Hendrix.
I'm just going to limit to one
everything.
album.
No. This is mine personally.
I'm just saying. But you've got one album.
No, he said 2 discs, right?
Well, he just said discs.
Discs, plural.
So you could just keep going if you wanted to.
See, Jimi Hendrix.
I just take all my discs.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You've got just one. That's the age-old question.
Jimi Hendrix for me is the penultimate. As soon as I heard him playing his guitar, that was it. I was fucking sold.
Yeah, man.
You know, and he's been integral into a lot of shit that I love. The fact that his All Along the Watchtower, but All Along the Watchtower was used in Battlestar Galactica and tweaked to sound like Jimi Hendrix's. It's just fucking amazing. I could go into God knows how much music that I listen to. I jump all over the place daily. I mean, yesterday I was listening to Berticello. The day before that I was listening to Pink. The day before that I was listening to Suicidal Tendencies.
Yeah, but if you only had that one album that was all you're going to be listening to is Jimi Hendrix.
Experience Hendrix.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if I have a good answer for this. My
It's
music
really hard.
taste changes all
Yeah,
the time,
dude,
and then it's
totally.
like, am I stuck with this for all time? For as long as I'm on this
Yes, you
island?
are. You are stuck with one.
I would take then the Blade Runner soundtrack.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, see, I was thinking compilation album.
Yeah, compilation.
Kerrang volume something like
yeah.
But why? Why? I mean, compilation Blade Runner is because the music changes each time.
There's a piece of music appropriate to every sort of desert island situation, maybe.
And each song,
Keep me
like
calm.
I said, it just goes with you. For me, like I said, experience Hendrix. 1 minute I'm listening to Purple Haze, next minute is If 6 Was 9, then it jumps back to Along the Watchtower.
Yeah.
I mean, Andy, what are you
I would
thinking?
take a spoken word album on how to make a boat out of sand.
Right, okay. So you're
just
going
to-
survival technique.
It would be
then.
that, or it would be like Aretha Franklin blasting out "Rescue Me." I don't know, man. I mean, like, I'm a huge metal fan, but again, like, I love a load of like old school rap, like Run DMC and stuff like that. I hate the fact I have to caveat that by saying it's old school, old as fuck now. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be something. I mean, I love like newer stuff. Like, I mean, I say newer, but you know, in retrospect, like Mastodon and Ghost. You know, fucking Coheed and Cambria.
I'm getting this metal theme from you.
But
anything
I mean,
metal.
to be fair, it's probably going to be it's down to two. If
Down
I
to
really
two?
have to pin it, it's
Okay.
going to be either the Black Album, Metallica,
Right? Yeah.
because
I was thinking Metallica, but mine was when they worked with the London Symphony Orchestra,
S&M.
S&M. That
I mean, and that's a good one because it's almost a
album.
compilation album as well,
It is,
so that would be
yeah,
a good shot.
But
Or,
with the added
um,
orchestra.
Appetite for Destruction,
Yeah, great.
because
Guns N'
I
Roses.
that was one of the first albums, probably the first album I listened to its entirety, and I was 9.
Nice.
And my sister
And
gave it to
changed
me on
everything.
her thing. Oh god,
It
yeah.
shaped your
And
future.
I just started.
He was such a
I
good
just
boy.
literally started mosh pit with a dog, but I mean, my dad was like, my parents were really great with music in the way they didn't stop me from listening to this stuff. Whereas, like, my mum was massive into like Status Quo. My dad was a huge Johnny Cash fan. Sister was like Guns N' Roses. One of my other sisters is the biggest Elvis fan you've got, and the other one's a Bon Jovi fan, and my brother is a huge AC/DC fan. So I was just
Such a
surrounded
great
by it.
merge of every piece
Yeah,
of music.
you know. So, but I'd probably say Appetite for Destruction.
Very nice, yeah.
Nice.
GNR, baby.
Alright, next question is from Will McGill.
Hey, Will.
Best name ever.
And he has 2 questions. Guys, Gary, you mentioned that you attended a Miami Dolphins game while in Florida. What do you know about American football? Aka hand egg.
Yeah, that's what they call
Yeah,
it.
hand egg is a American. I have no idea.
Like a female
Yeah,
vibrator.
You had tickets and you just had time to fill, so you went.
Well, no, it was something. My dad is a huge.
He's an
is
American
hugely into
football
American
fan,
football.
yeah.
He even watches the college games.
Yes, yeah.
And
Or
so-
football, as they call it in America.
Yeah.
Or football, yeah. And he was a big fan, and he was like, "I'm going to take you because you need to experience an American stadium for the sheer scale of this arena, and then filled with as many people as it was, watching this Mexican wave going around, and it was taking its time to go around. You watched it. It was being a part of
See,
something
now
of such
under
a
the
huge
Trump
scale.
administration, that's going to be banned, isn't it? It's going to have to be a wave.
Yeah.
That is true. It would just be the wave.
Just ruined American football for everyone.
Yeah. But unfortunately, my experience was a bit soured by the fact that I had the worst toothache of my life. And it was also blazing hot Florida-Miami
Oh,
sun.
dude.
Oh, listen to the Britishness
Yes.
of the American football game.
And
It's
I'm like,
too hot
well,
today.
a normal football game takes about an hour and a half. Not
Mate.
American football. That shit took 4
Dude,
hours.
toothache will ruin a blowjob. So, like, fucking
So
almost. But
So unfortunately, I don't know nothing about American football. I was there for the experience, and that was pretty much it.
Stadium experience.
what was
yeah.
his other question? Sorry?
His next question is, Ian,
Yeah.
what shows have you been watching lately, and do any of them start with the word Hawaii?
Oh, hell yes. Yes, Y50 is amazing. I've been watching it a lot. Apart from that.
Yeah, we know, Ian.
Apart from that, nothing else.
Thanks for encouraging
Man,
him.
A Hawaii 5 see, now we keep going through this week on to week, month after month with Hawaii
The season's
5-0.
just ended, isn't it? So I know I've got at least 10 podcasts before it comes up again.
Yeah, by the time this podcast goes out, it's the last 4 episodes. I'm really
God.
hoping McGarrett and Dano find the nuclear bomb which has been lost in Hawaii. You know, there's a terrorist out there with a nuclear bomb. I'm wondering what the cliffhanger is. It's been renewed for season 8. Oh, I'm massively excited. And you know what? The funny thing is...
There's a funny thing?
You are turning out more like Dano as these podcasts go out. Dano always complains at McGarrett how awesome McGarrett is and how he's always willing on risking his life and chucking himself out there. And Dano is that sour-faced, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be watching Hawaii Five-0 kind of guy.
Suggesting that Ian's been risking his life recently.
I am McGarrett.
Saying that you are driving now, so you're risking a lot of lives.
Yeah. Yes, I have been watching Hawaii Five-0 and it's awesome.
I've been to the building.
Was it good?
Well, I was in Hawaii, so I don't give a fuck. It was awesome.
Next question is
the
from...
Cheesecake Factory was around the corner from it. I was more focused on that building, I'll be honest.
Next question's from Matt Midgley.
Hey, Matt.
What up?
Who says, thanks for all the hard work. You guys love the channel. My question for the next podcast is, if you could make a prequel to any movie, what would it be and why?
Ooh, that is a toughie. I mean, there are a lot of films. So if I just take one that's close to heart and go with a prequel, I'm going to say Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say a prequel either detailing the book being made and the evil being kind of forced into it. You know, by the end of this prequel film, the evil has been forced into the book and the book has been sealed away.
Yeah, but isn't that going to be essentially Evil Dead because he was at the cabin, right? So isn't that in danger of kind of almost doing like a pseudo version?
No.
Do you know what I mean?
We're talking medieval times. We're talking like back in the day. We're talking...
of course, yeah. Sorry, I was thinking like the
been around for like
hundred
of years. Or, as you said, a prequel to Ash coming to the cabin and we're following Nobi. We're following Nobi maybe going to the Middle East, you know, doing a whole fucking exorcist kind of excavation on a temple.
Yeah, totally.
You know,
I was like, you've already got the opening scene.
Fighting the demons, you know, halfway through the movie, getting to America, getting to the cabin, you know, sitting down, knowing that he shouldn't mess with the book, but at the same time opening it, reading it, his wife becoming possessed, maybe other people getting possessed, maybe Barney from across the way who lives in his cabin with his wife. Oh no, not anymore. They're evil. Kill them. Stab them. Bring them. Cut them.
Barney.
Up. And then
it'd have to be a guy called Tucker and another guy called Dale.
Tucker and Dale. Yes. No, because we couldn't kill them off.
Because they'd win. Because
everybody would have to be dead at the end of that prequel, so that when Ash turns up at the cabin, there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Done. That's mine.
What about you?
I'm trying to think, and I'm just like, you know what? A lot of times when you have a film franchise and then they announce the prequel, it's kind of like, but why? Why tell this story? What's the point?
Make a prequel to Serenity so we get the final season of Firefly.
Well, that's what my first thought was. I would love a prequel to Serenity, but I'm like, but you have Firefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just do it's a prequel to Serenity, but it's a sequel to the last episode of Firefly.
See, now it's difficult. It depends on how far you want to bend the story. Like I said, with Evil Dead, going back 400 years into the past on, you know, the book hasn't been made yet. The book is actually the final evidence of this evil that they've stored away. It's creating a new story to fit in with the story that you've already got. It's difficult to do.
I want to see the prequel to that last Hulk Hogan movie. It's just 90 minutes of foreplay.
I tell you what the title is. No. It's called The Pre-Cum.
She's a Hulkamaniac.
Okay.
What about John Wick? Prequel to John Wick, where you actually have him as the assassin completing that impossible task.
I'm glad you said that, because I don't think I could sit for an hour and a half John Wick movie where he watches his wife die. I'm sorry, I had to put that in there. As soon as you said prequel to John Wick, all I had was
it the cancer years?
That's hard. Next question.
Next question's from Poke the Dog.
Love it.
Poke the Dog.
He says, great podcast as usual. I was wondering what your thoughts on the movie V for Vendetta were, and if you could possibly review it. So I'm just going to say right now, Poke the Dog, that is a review that we sat down and we recorded it.
Yes,
we edited it.
Yeah.
And we uploaded it to YouTube, and YouTube rejected it, gave us copyright strikes and everything. So we stripped it down and we re-edited it.
As we always do.
Pick another letter.
I re-edited that review over 88 times, and YouTube was still denying that video going up. The clips I was using in that review, I trimmed them all down to the point where it was nearly still images in that review. And it was still getting blocked. There was just no way we were getting that review to go live. And we had it planned for like a November Guy Fawkes release.
See, I think I know the reason why we got screwed on that. Because we'd aimed for it to go up around about November 5th.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of controversy around the time that we were editing it and uploading it involving the British government. So I question that every time.
You're inciting riot.
All I'm saying is that it's just coincidental that all this shit was happening in the media, and every time we were putting up a movie about a guy taking out the British government, they were like, no, that's not going up. You can't show that sequence. You can't do that. V for Vendetta,
sensitive
V for
topics in that
Vendetta
film,
is a fucking amazing movie.
It is. I love the performance, but Hugo Weaving, Natalie Portman.
is astounding. His the way he delivers his verbal,
he articulates himself so well.
It's so amazing. Every other
Stephen
actor
Fry,
as well.
dude.
Stephen Fry as well. Kane from Alien. What's his goddamn name? William Hurt? No, it's John Hurt. Sorry,
Yeah, John Hurt.
John Hurt.
Yeah,
he's
Ollivander.
amazing as this
overseer.
this overseer dictator. Everything involving in that film is amazing and should be seen. We reviewed it. We hope to review it again in the future.
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to touch it.
We're afraid to do it just in case the British government kick down our doors and we end up going to a factory.
Do it on the podcast so you don't need to put any images into it.
We could do an audio commentary on it.
Possibly,
at some point.
yeah.
Dude, that'd be the best one is actually, just watch the movie and do an actual full commentary on it.
The
and
original
then the guys
footage for it was lost along with the Poltergeist review. So all the original footage we did for V Vendetta, I can't even get it anymore. It is gone.
We'd have to do it all over again. But
yeah, like you said, a podcast or a commentary for the film might work, and then we'll just find out whether anything V for Vendetta related is just being removed from YouTube.
It's the government, mate. I'm not paranoid. It's the fucking government. All right.
Matthias asks, "I'm glad to hear you guys read my email. I just love supporting the show in any way I can. Okay, I thought of a great question this time. See, I was watching your review of the Maltese Falcon, and you mentioned the movie prop of the Maltese Falcon itself being worth millions.
Yes.
Literally one of the most expensive movie props in film history.
Yeah.
So, my question, if you could own any movie prop from any movie ever made, what would it be? And it must be something you really love, because you're not allowed to sell it for its money's value."
Damn, Matthias. Okay.
Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science.
Was she a prop?
Yeah.
She was technically man-made, so yeah, she counts as a prop, and I want her.
I'd go with that.
I want the lament configuration box from the very first Hellraiser movie.
Good. That's pretty damn good.
Or I would want Ash's chainsaw from Evil Dead.
Fucking Ash's
chainsaw. Or I would want the Terminator hand from Terminator 2 that they throw into the pit.
What about Kurt Russell's original eye patch, Escape from New York?
You'd never stop wearing it.
You would never take it off.
It'd be like that fucking hat you used to wear back in the day, man. It'd drive us mental.
What about
your wife
McCready's hat
from the Thing?
Yeah, right.
You know.
You're lowballing it though, by the way.
Why?
The fucking answer is clearly a Batmobile.
The Batmobile.
Which one? I'd go
the first
1989.
one.
1989
Batman.
Not my favourite Batman movie. Totally the best Batmobile of all time.
Yeah. And I'd want it to go armoured like it does in Batman Returns.
Yeah. Because we live in Plymouth and parking would be an issue.
Yeah, parking would be a total
Plus,
issue.
you could never get a fucking ticket on the bitch, could you?
I don't know. Actually, living in Plymouth, I'd like the fucking...
You'd be like, can't see my license plate.
I'd like the Tumbler from Dark Knight. Fuck it. Just drive down one of our long... Outland Road.
All them fucking Range
the dual
Rovers. You'd be like,
carriageways.
I got something for you.
I'd literally be looking for a truck that says Slaughter.
Plus, with the way you drive, I can imagine you needing some kind of bat pod escape.
The way I drive.
Yeah.
No, we're not even getting into this. No, in front of her, the way I drive.
Don't do this in front of the kids.
No,
Batmobile.
Next question is from Jordan Schickstammer. I believe.
Probably not.
Jordan. I'm just going to go with Jordan.
Yeah. And Jordan says, oh, definitely have a beer.
I'm having 3.
And he has 2 questions, so please bear with him. Question number 1. It appears Fox really take a liking to pulling your reviews, even if they're highly favourable reviews for films that are quite old by now.
Yeah.
What is your response to this? And is there a chance we will see these reviews re-uploaded in the future? I will say most definitely yes, because we put in so much work into those. I'm going to say it's probably the Alien reviews, although there have been other 20th Century
Aliens
Fox
is
movies.
the only one that is still up.
Yeah, I think Alien 3 and Resurrection and the Predator films and Prometheus is up and down like a yo-yo. Keep re-editing them and keep re-uploading them, and Fox keeps going, you've infringed copyright
because
and we're blocking
not
the
paying them enough money. We are so low down on the ladder of film reviewers. When people look at people like the Nostalgia Critic and Angry Joe and all these other guys, those guys have got outside jobs or outside money coming in where they're getting sponsors, that those people pay towards YouTube. They pay towards the film companies. We can't afford that. And so the film companies go, you've just got 10,000 views on that film. We're going to take that. We're going to take that from you. Now, if they just flagged it and we didn't get any money and it all went to the company, I would have no problem with that. I've put in the work. I've promoted your film. I've advertised it for people who are not watching it or people who are watching it and want to know more about it. I'm promoting your film. But every time you take one of the films that we have worked really hard on, and I'm saying this to YouTube as well, with your fucking... your fucking system for checking the movies.
Ian said hard on.
As soon as I said it, I knew it was going to come up. Every time we put a film up, you flag us once. And so we take it down, we re-edit it, and we put it back up. And you flag us again once. We take it down, we re-edit, and we put it back up again. Like Gary said with V for Vendetta, you could have told us how long those problems were, which sequences were too bad for you, what you had a problem with, and we would have worked on it. But you didn't. You made us go the fucking long way round. And every time we do, when it gets to 58, 60, 70 fucking renders of a review that we're putting up, that makes me want to put it up even fucking more, just to fucking spite you. Because honestly, I am doing you a favour. I'm doing you and every other film company out there a favour because people aren't watching your film. We did Barry Lyndon. I'd never heard of a 3-hour 18th century Stanley Kubrick movie. I'd only heard of his good ones. Barry Lyndon...
Hey, great promotion.
Wait.
Great promotion, dude.
Barry Lyndon was fucking awesome. So that's why I, promoted how good that film was and how I want other people to watch it. And we had no problem putting that film up. You take a film like Alien, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. Fucking Alien Resurrection! You say, we're going to take that film down. You want us to promote that film. So people will buy it and will go see Prometheus and Prometheus 2 and Alien Covenant. Because without people like us, you've got nothing.
Wow, Jordan, you really brought the fucking room down with your question. I'm going to say this.
Jeez, Ian.
Fuck.
So we have had some problems with 20th
Do you feel
Century
strongly
Fox.
about this, bro?
Totally.
And sometimes it gets our blood boiling a little bit, but we know it's part and parcel with the fact that we're using film clips on YouTube, and there's a whole broken problem with it right now. And yes, we will. Your
man does go on to say that he thinks it's total bullshit. So Jordan, obviously, like a lot of your audience, knows that you're not doing it on purpose, and that it's outside.
Jordan says, I think it is total bullshit. There are numerous Alien reviews out there that show footage that have not been taken down in quite a while.
If we could take a month, Jordan, and just work on all the old reviews and get them sorted and get them uploaded, we would. But Gary and I both have the same view that we don't want to miss a week. We don't want to miss a week where we can put up a new film. If we miss a week with a new film, we feel bad that we're not giving you what you're actually signing up for. And so this is why we keep going with new films. We do look at our hard drives and we see Alien, Alien 3.
Yeah.
We see the old Halloween movies. It hurts me. I don't know about Gary, but it hurts me because I remember how much fun we had talking about that film. How much fun we had editing the video and making it personally to us.
Well, we will restore as many of the lost reviews as possible. And sometimes we get a little bit of flack from people going, why are you continuing to re-upload this video? And it's like, well,
yeah,
sorry,
but...
yeah, it's going to happen.
I
You're
think
going
you
to
guys
see
could
repeats.
probably get away with like maybe playing said reviews through the podcast, essentially releasing them as audio rights or something. Just
as an audio file,
Yeah,
audio
audio
as a
file.
way just to get them so
if,
that
if
people
the guys,
can at least...
you know, people want to hear it.
Yeah. And so, second part of Jordan's question is, he says, I've always been a huge fan of Fifth Element. However, as this is quite a unique film, I have yet to see something remotely similar that was even remotely as enjoyable. What did you guys think of it? Can you recommend a film that's similar in tone?
Chris Tucker.
Are you ever going to review it?
I've got two...
Thanks and have an awesome week.
I've got an answer for this one. I love Fifth Element. I saw it multiple times when it first came out in the cinema, mainly because Mila Jovovich was naked. And then as I've gotten older, the film is visually astounding. And I believe Luc Besson has a new sci-fi movie coming out with two secret agents, one of them being one of the main guys from Chronicle. And they go to a city in space which incorporates thousands of different aliens in this world and has a multi-viewed world.
This could be like the Green Lantern movie we've always wanted and not got.
No.
Space Cops.
This is Luke.
No, but you see what I'm saying.
This is Luc Besson. Luc Besson has always done great stories. Yeah. Yes. Leon is amazing.
Yes, I would say that is my favourite of all of his films. But I have seen him turn out some dreck. I remember a film that he did with John Travolta.
Battles. No,
it wasn't. No,
fucking...
I don't know. He's done some dreck, some movies that as soon as I see his name on it, I'm like, I'm not going to watch that.
Yeah, but his sci-fi movies, like I said.
No, I'm not even a fan of Fifth Element.
Yeah, but you're not a fan of Into Darkness, so I'm not talking to you anymore.
Oh god.
I love Fifth Element so much, man. I mean, fucking.
You just gotta get yourself enveloped by the
best
sci-fi-ness of it. You know, not going to.
It was a goofy movie.
Dude,
no,
but I think it totally has that. But I think it's got everything. It's got the sci-fi action. It's got the fucking genuine fucking peril of like this is like the world is going to end.
Bruce Willis,
Gary Oldman.
Oh,
Lenny McLean is in that movie, dude. It's like
Tiny Lister's in that movie. Tiny Lister's in the movie. The Fifth Element is brilliant. Mila Jovovich, you can say what you want about her, but that film just did everything right for sci-fi at its time. It basically gave us a new universe to look at. It gave us all these extraordinary characters. Yes, okay, the PlayStation 1 game was terrible, but we didn't care because you had a gun that fired one bullet and then every other bullet locked in on that one bullet.
That's what a bolt gun should be.
The ZF-1 was an amazing gun.
Yeah, I'm still not a fan. I wouldn't push myself to review it if it came in as a request. If you, Ian, went, we're going to review Fifth Element, you know.
What's this guy called again? Give him the question.
This was Jordan.
Patron.
But he also asks, can you think of any film similar to Fifth Element? Is there anything like it?
Luc Besson's new movie. That's what I was saying. Luc Besson's new sci-fi movie. When I saw the trailer, the new trailer is out for it. I can't remember what it's called, but it took me back to Fifth Element. It made me want to go to the cinema and just watch a badass sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Do you not think that it could be considered a little bit of almost like a parody on some bits of Blade Runner? Even it's got a very similar look to it.
Don't get Gary started.
No. I mean, it's like just visually in the style that these like cities of flying cars and what I mean, like.
Well, that's it. Blade Runner is an amazing sci-fi movie, but it's dark and it's rainy and you don't get to see a lot. At least in Fifth Element, you have this.
He's driving through the other fucking cars.
You see this
he's going down.
massive cityscape. You see the expansion of what we've always wanted from sci-fi movies, and they don't do it that much anymore. Marvel's doing it brilliantly with all the different universes.
What's the first Judge Dredd?
Oh yeah,
that's fucking. That's got some bits of Fifth Element in it, like they're flying the fucking lawgiver through the city, and Rob Schneider's being a dick.
God, we're moving on to the next one. It's from Craig Hall, and it said. And he says, "Did you enjoy drinking last time? We did. If you want to do it, then fill your boots, rock and roll, and all of that."
So much fun, Craig.
I'm not driving next time. I'm fucking.
Yeah, you're totally drinking it next one.
And it's a musical question for us. What bands are you guys into? You share a lot about movies and games and board games, but what do you groove to?
Well, I'll go with this one first. I'll let these guys, think about what their favourite albums is. If you'd asked me this question 10 years ago, I'd have been stuck on Limp Bizkit. I'd have been stuck on rock music. And as I've gotten older, I've realised I'm actually a fan of everything. And it's because I've been introduced to everything. My mum was massively into the Kinks, Kenny Rogers, Patsy Cline, Dolly Parton. So I thought that was cool when I was growing up. I was introduced heavily into the pop culture and the rave culture back in the late 80s, 90s. I didn't really get into that, but I could see why people were big fans of it. Then when I first met Andy, Marilyn Manson, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Mechanical Animals.
Who is she?
Mechanical Animals by Marilyn Manson is still one of my favourite albums. Then I got into Limp Bizkit, then I got into Korn, then I got into Metallica, Megadeth. I met Gary. Gary tried.
We all at one point lived together and grew up through
our musical.
Eminem. No, but we grew up through Eminem, The Real Slim Shady, Dre, NWA.
Yeah, we started getting introduced to hip hop. Once I started playing San Andreas GTA, I was massively into hip hop. Yeah, I am a big fan of Jay-Z now. I'm a big fan of Ice-T. I'm still finding bands from back in the day that I'd never heard of before that I really enjoy now. Ultimately, Jimi Hendrix is still my fucking jam.
Been there throughout all of your musical taste. He still just comes back.
There is no way I can ever find anybody who can play guitar as well as Jimi Hendrix. And when people say to me, you really need to go to a live concert, you need to know what it's like to see somebody live, I'm like, I'll never see Jimi Hendrix live.
You've never been to
I've never been to a concert like that.
Come next time we go.
No, I can't enjoy it because it's not Jimi Hendrix. If it was Jimi Hendrix, I'd be totally there. Every other band, it's good, but not as good as the one I want to see.
So I'm not a big fan of live music as well. I'm not a big fan of going to, the big arenas and everything else. Although I have seen Muse live and the Pink Floyd cover group.
Yeah.
Right on.
And they were spectacular. Also saw Korn live as well. And the biggest thing...
You seen when they came down here?
Yes, yeah. And the biggest thing, the big difference is just that audio quality. Is so different, their voices especially.
Yeah.
And so there is a big difference to listening to them live. But yeah, otherwise, my music taste is varied just as much as well, from the pop music upbringing of listening to Meatloaf, the Monkees, Beatles,
Aqua,
Beach Boys,
Too Unlimited. I'm just chucking these old bands.
No.
And then
shit, I fell into it.
And then, of course, I massively went into an emo goth rock hybrid, and I was listening to Manson and Disturbed and Korn and Rammstein, and that kind of never really left. Although at the same time as listening to Rammstein, 2 hours later I'll be listening to Enya.
You need to come down.
Come down.
And then I'll listen to some Bon Jovi, and then and then listen to some Vangelis, and then and so it does vary. And sometimes I'll sit here, and if I'm editing or working, I'll put some classical music on. I'll listen to some Mozart.
Yeah.
Totally. It's just the music changes depending on your mood, and music will also change your mood as well.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you're massively into metal, Andy, but are you like us? You can just listen to it.
I mean, like I say metal, I guess I'd identify as being a metalhead or whatever you want to call it, but it's because it is probably my favourite genre of music, but I think most people would say, I think you're going to be pretty close-minded if you just say you want like one type of music.
Yeah.
Because I agree with everything you're saying with there's some bands that you might mention, it's like, it's not really my thing, but whatever. I'm a big fan of musicians and people that are writing their own stuff. I can run down all the same bands. I do like going to live shows. I went to Sonosphere, I think a couple of years back was my last festival, and we saw, you fucking love Mastodon, dude. They're so good. Ghost. I think I've been to see Ghost now about 4 or 5 times. They're incredible. Amon Amarth I've recently got into, and they're fucking like I love going to the big gym guy. You know, I'm in the gym every morning, so I've got a huge amount of playlists. I'll tell you one in a minute that I'm going to encourage everyone to check out, especially being YouTubers. But yeah, dude, I mean, like old school rap and love classical music, love like 80s. I'll sit there and work listening to fucking Twisted Sister and stuff like that, like, you know, because it's also I love Motley Crue. You know, but there's everyone go online onto YouTube and check out Frog Leap Studios. Frog Leap Studios. Can't recommend it enough. Okay, and this is the beauty. This is something that I use to connect with my daughter.
Right.
Because I always loved growing up the fact that, like I mentioned earlier, my parents were really cool about this is our music, but your music is your music, and you listen to what you want. So I've got a daughter that's into a lot of pop music.
Yeah.
She's 6 years old. She's got cousins that are like 13. She's obsessed with Little Mix. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, not my cup of tea.
No.
But
no.
Here's the thing. I will put that CD on in my car for her to listen to, because she will also be in the car and ask to listen to Cancer Bats.
Yeah.
Who I saw recently and they were amazing. You know, she loves Ghost because she loves when they kick in with all the Latin stuff, and I'm like, this song's a love letter to Satan, and she's there singing it as well, and I'm like, I'm so happy right now. But if you go onto, I say Frog Leap Studios, the guy's name is Leo, and I can't pronounce his surname. He's from Norway.
Okay.
It's phenomenal. He does metal covers of pop songs, and he does everything from like the kid's obsessed with the Mamma Mia movie, so all the ABBA songs. He's done like 3-4 covers of that. He's done fucking Let It Go from Frozen, and she loves it. And it's not like just some guy who picks up a guitar and does like hits some metal chords and sings a song. These are fully produced studio songs where he plays every instrument. He's one of the most talented musicians on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. I've hit him up on Twitter and he's hit me back and stuff. He's a really cool guy. He gets his little girl involved on the videos and his wife and stuff. Go and check out Frog Leap Studios. It's probably my biggest gym playlist, because the thing about pop music is it's all fucking upbeat and shit, right?
Very
energetic. You might not want to listen to like I heard it on when me and Jessica watched Trolls together, because we're always watching Disney movies and
fucking
shit.
Trolls.
I like that movie, dude. It's fucking funny. They have a troll there that farts unicorn dust. It's amazing.
I heard.
But anyway, so Justin Timberlake's song Caught on a Feeling or something like that. Dance, right? Now, I'm not going to necessarily listen to the Justin Timberlake version, but that dude's version, when he's played on guitar and stuff, fucking I will drop that on a treadmill and just like hammer out to it. It's awesome. So totally check it out. But yeah, everything, man. I mean, don't be close-minded about music. It's fucking pretty much the best thing we've got.
I would
on
say
this planet.
that with music though, your tastes change as you do get older, and you just start embracing more and more music.
I like when you get to the point in your life where you don't. There's certainly a point in my life where I would be, say, that little metal elitist. Be like, I'm fucking listening, you know. And then you grow as a person. You realize, fuck, I like what I like. I don't give a shit what anyone says.
I mean,
if I do turn around and decide, you know, I'm gonna buy a Justin Timberlake album, probably not gonna happen. But I'm still like, I ain't gonna be
when I'm
embarrassed or care
driving in
about
the
it.
car and I can't be bothered to find a CD and the radio's just on and there's a pop song on, I might not know who's singing it,
good tune.
but I'm hearing the beat and it's keeping me concentrating on what I'm doing, and all of a sudden I'm bumping my head. Anything that allows me to bump my head, I'm good with.
Yeah, man.
All right, next question's from Laurie Condon, who says he has 5 questions.
Okay, Laurie.
Kind of abusing the privilege.
Yeah, okay.
Really,
Let's.
Well, it's a good job that some of his questions aren't even questions, really. But anyway, here we go. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Hellraiser Judgment?
Good answer.
I ask, even though there's not much info out now, because the guy who's directing has been described as being very passionate about the project. I don't think that matters.
Who's directing?
I think it's the same team behind the last one.
No.
Which were the special effects team behind Revelations.
Revelations was,
was number
the last
9,
one.
and this is number 10.
I'm gonna plead. I was just about to ask. I'm going to plead ignorance. What? Because the last one I watched was 3.
Right. Okay. You have missed a fucking series, mate. We went to
have I?
We went to 9 Hellraiser movies. There were 6 after Hellraiser 3. They generally started to get worse. There were possibly a couple of good
after 2
things.
5 was still interesting. I still liked Inferno. The more I think about Inferno, the more
Inferno was 4. Inferno was 4, Gary.
No, Bloodline was.
Oh wait,
Bloodline
Bloodline
was
was,
four. I know that was the last
4.
one.
God
That was the
damn it, I
sci-fi one.
forget. They come back. They come back.
So yeah, the first 5 movies I kind of dig, but everything after that it was straight to DVD direct,
Schlock.
and it was
Judgment will go straight to DVD. We will get a copy of it. We will
will
look at
review
it.
it. We are going to review it.
And we will sit there and go, it's not as good as number
But
1 and 2.
I am not expecting anything good. As a matter of fact, I'm expecting this to be the worst film I will ever sit down to watch and review.
Tekken 2, Kazuya's Revenge.
No, I think this will be worse because it continues to insult
You
me.
didn't like Tekken?
I did not like Tekken.
And
I did not like Hellraiser Revelations.
I got a fucking phone
either.
call.
Yeah, Hellraiser Judgment. When it's out, I think it's probably out this October. I expect so, unless it gets delayed or pushed back or whatever. But the last one was shot in like 3 weeks. You know.
Yeah, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
Next question: have you ever read any of Clive Barker's books? If so, which ones would you want to see put into a film, if any?
Nope.
No, I've never read
most of
any
the
Clive
ones I
Barker
have
books.
read have become films that I've seen as well.
Yeah, most of his
and
films
I didn't
have
read
been
that many.
changed, and most of his books have been changed into films. Some of them I really have trouble getting through. I know a lot of people give a lot of respect to Nightbreed, and
Yeah.
Nightbreed is a difficult film for me to get through. I haven't seen Rawhead Rex yet, and that could be a lot worse.
Yeah. But that was just an
Thinner,
abomination of
I
his
think
material.
Thinner was Clive Barker,
No, that's
wasn't it?
Stephen King.
Was
Yeah.
that Stephen King?
Stephen King was Thinner.
Yeah.
So I was a Stephen King head. Yeah,
Clive-
I dabbled in Barker
Clive
and went
Barker,
straight back to
he
King.
did do Jericho the Game, which was not
I played that
great.
through to completion as well.
Yeah.
We'll have to cover that soon.
Yeah, I haven't read any of his books, and no. Hellraiser 1 and 2, that's it.
Yeah. I think was it the Midnight Meat Train?
Oh, with Vinnie
Oh,
Jones?
With Vinnie Jones. I quite
That was
enjoyed
fucking
that
Clive
one.
Barker?
Yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure
didn't
that
know
was
that.
Clive Barker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
Clive
not.
Barker
That's
did
what?
it. I think that's
That
a
was
short
okay.
film.
That was an
Yeah.
alright flick.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. Okay, question 3. Now that people are bringing up music, I'm going to their concert this summer. Tool.
Okay.
Nice.
Best band ever or greatest band ever?
I am.
I like Tool as well, by the way. I've listened to a lot of their
Well,
albums.
then I'm just going to leave this to you guys because I'm not a big Tool fan.
Well, I mean,
Well, he's just asking what's
like,
your greatest band. Or
Oh.
your, I think, yeah.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jimi,
So, yeah.
Jimi Hendrix or Limp Bizkit. I did want to go see Limp Bizkit recently when they were doing their tour with Korn in the UK. But part of me didn't want to because I didn't want to lose the nostalgia I had listening to Limp Bizkit back in the day. You know, when I listen to them, I kind of regress back into what I used to be like while I'm doing my normal household shit. At the same time, money and the fact I'd have to travel and leave the house.
Yeah, but then I saw Limp Bizkit a couple of years ago at Sinosphere, and dude, they were fucking awesome.
Yeah, they are
good.
still fucking awesome.
I think it was January. I went and saw Avenged Sevenfold and Disturbed
Yeah.
Nice.
in Cardiff,
I still
and
wish to see
Disturbed were
Disturbed.
so fucking
Yeah.
good live.
Yeah.
And I went through the bit with Disturbed where I was like, sickness, oh shit, trailed off and wasn't as good. And it wasn't, but
Man,
dude, they fucking
but
picked
it-
it
man,
right up
Disturbed
recently.
do really good Phil Collins songs.
Mate, no, dude, Simon and
This-
Garfunkel
yeah, the
fucking
Sound
Sound
of
of
Silence.
Silence.
Oh
Holy
my
shit.
gosh.
That live
Yes.
was
Man,
just
that's-
captivating.
it's tear jerking, that song as well.
It is,
And
it's brutal,
his
dude.
voice as well. It's a different
There's
interpretation
a version
of it,
online that's it's on YouTube, and it's him and Miles Kennedy
Yeah.
singing it together, and that will break you.
Why do I
Yeah.
know Miles Kennedy?
From from Slash album, and what's his band called?
Velvet Underground?
No, jerk off! Fuck, I can't believe I stepped on this one.
Stained?
No, shut up.
Aretha Franklin?
Oh god, he did Edge's entrance music. Oh god, I've lost it, and it'll come to me in 10 minutes, and I'll yell it
Yeah.
out, and it'll be out of context. But...
Brilliant, that's why we're going to move
Oh
on
my
to the
god,
next question.
Miles Kennedy anyway is that's a great version. But see, I would say greatest band of all time, Queen.
Queen.
Oh,
Wow.
yes. Yes. They are.
Alter Bridge. See what happens.
Alter Bridge!
Fuck. That was figuratively killing me. Yeah, Queen, dude. I mean,
Queen are
fuck,
amazing.
How can you just
But
top
then
that?
that's it.
Yeah.
You can never see a Queen live concert with Freddie Mercury.
Well,
I
I mean,
just-
yeah, you can see a Queen show, I guess, with like
There's
Roger
lots of
Taylor
cover
and
groups.
Brian May.
Yeah,
We
but
see
it's
Brian
just
May.
not
you
the
know.
same. It's
Of course,
just
it's
not the
not the
same.
same,
It's
dude.
just not the
Of course
same.
it's
No.
not.
It's just not the same.
What are your tattoos, and do they have any special meanings?
My tattoos, I have 3, I have one on my right arm, which is just an old tribal tattoo that I got.
That says, I once had £50 spent.
No. A
I once had disposable income.
A friend of mine, when I was 18, wanted to get me a tattoo because he was big into tattoos. I then got my Ash tattoo on the back of my neck, which I took from the Evil Dead Hail to the King instruction guide for the PlayStation 1.
I took you to get that one done. Do you remember?
And that was my birthday again.
Yeah.
That was my 21st birthday.
Was funny.
I think it was.
Do you remember where you took the actual picture from?
From the guide.
From the actual
from the actual
fucking
guide.
instruction manual. You remember when we used to get actual instruction manuals with games,
guides for
and you
games.
took it in, the tattooist was like,
No. I took it to a photocopy of. I took it to the tattooist. He said you have to get a photocopy of this. I took it to a photocopy. He got me a bigger picture. I took it back and I got it on the back of my neck. And then my last tattoo that I got is on my left arm, and that is the Foxhound symbol from Metal Gear Solid with my son's birth date on top of it. Mainly because I wanted something to symbolise the day my son was born and the connection with him, so that when he grows up, he's like, what the fuck's that? And I'm like, it's Metal Gear Solid. You were almost called Snake. Almost.
Until your mother put her foot down.
Your mother put her foot down, so I settled with Duke. From Duke Nukem, and don't let anybody else take that away from you.
It's like Jessica was nearly called Talia for so long, and then literally I went through all these names, and like at one point it was going to be Harley Quinn and stuff like that, and Don was like no, and then I said Talia's like that's interesting, and I was like isn't it?
Yes.
And then like weeks before she was like that's from fucking Batman, isn't it? I was like motherfucker.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Isn't that from Mass Effect as well? Isn't
the Corey.
Well, okay.
Corey
I mean, in this context, no, it wasn't.
But I also had my son's date tattooed on my arm just so I can never forget it.
It's good.
Because I'm getting old.
Yeah, everyone's probably seen the tattoo on my left arm, the wolf head, in some of the reviews. It's obviously
gangrel.
A couple of people have pointed out that it is a gangrel, and they've recognised it. And yeah, it's from Jihad Vampire: The Masquerade. And yeah,
I thought it was one of the Space Wolf Legions.
It is a Space Wolf Legion.
Yeah. Ragnar's company.
I just never told him.
Well, and plus I get an affinity for wolves, werewolves being my favourite universal monster as well. So I fell right in with the gangrels in the World of Darkness as well. So yeah.
Andy,
I have a tattoo on my back as well, but we'll go into that another time.
Tramp stamp.
Andy,
you are covered in tattoos.
Yes.
This might take a while.
Well, yeah, I guess. I'm a big fan of wolves and stuff, so I've got a wolf on my back, across my shoulders.
Tramp stamp.
Across my shoulders. Unless I'm like, aim high. I've got a kind of tribal thing going on my arm, more of a kind of Maui style. I mean, it's literally shapes. I got a big, sort of dragon up on my right arm up to my shoulder, also with a kind of like, Samoan style going through it. I do have a little Chinese symbol because, we're English, so we find it fun. But that does have meaning. I got that one done when Sandbags, my best mate, when he was going into the army, and we both got matching tattoos. Not like I was going into the army or anything.
Gay!
I know, right?
Gay!
No, sorry, they're not matching, but we both picked a fucking symbol. It's just something we
Well, hold it down, kissing.
My left arm, I've got an mostly finished DC sleeve incorporating Joker, Riddler.
It's one of the most amazing tattoos I've seen.
Bats,
is the fact your arm sleeve, with the fact you've got Batman on your at the top by your shoulder. It goes all the way down to Venom.
To the villains.
Where's the Joker? Is the Joker on there?
Joker's there.
Joker's right there on the wrist.
Yeah,
you got Catwoman right there.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, we were saying this earlier, is the fact that you are a massive comic book head. But you don't like the divide between DC and Marvel.
No, as in the fans.
But you have DC tattooed on your body, but you have no Marvel.
Oh, okay, I guess I'll have to go and do that.
You've got to do that.
All right, to prove a point.
You can't stand there and say there's no divide and only have DC and be like.
I did that because DC is like more my jam. Like I'm a huge Batman fan, obviously.
You're a massive Batman fan.
Most of my comics are DC and most of them are Batman, because that's my favorite. You've been in the man cave at home. It's not just comic books; it's pictures of Batman and the characters. Fucking Batmobiles everywhere.
Yes.
Like
it's like Batman walked into that room and just went
jizzed everywhere.
Everywhere. What can I put? I'm gonna put a bit up there, put a bit up there, and then you go. Yeah, I like Marvel too, and I'm like,
I just don't like I said, I don't like. Yeah, but I've got all like a lot of the seminal comics, like Civil War and everything, and Invincible Iron Man and stuff like that. But no, I don't like the divide when people are like, I love DC movies, but fuck Marvel. I'm like, why? It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
We're like, look. I mean, it's our fucking time now as comic book fans, but yeah. So I do tend to like the tattoos wise. To answer the dude's question, yeah, it's all pretty much DC. Oh, my favorite tattoo is my wedding ring.
Yeah, you got the wedding ring on your finger.
I've got a wedding ring tattooed on my finger, which she can take hers
Nice.
off, and I'm fucked. But yeah, so I mean, when we got married in Hawaii, so I got a sort of Samoan symbol for fuck up on my... No, I'm joking. I got, like a Samoan symbol for eternity on my finger with a chain around it. Ever denoting that I'm chained to her, I guess. So,
Gay! Next question.
And Larry finishes off by saying, and finally, Dark Tower. Yay! Which, as I said, is not a question, and yes, I am excited for the Dark Tower. I've read all the books.
Idris Elba. Yay!
Yay! So, next question is from Damien, who says, a question from me. We, the watchers and followers of your channel, already know what games and movies you're into, but what sort of music do you listen to? So we've kind of already answered that.
Yeah, we've already done that.
But he also throws in, are you ever going to do a review of Robot Jocks or Robocop 2? Thanks.
Oh, man. I saw this question. I would love to do a review of Robocop 2. Robocop 2
we will eventually do
Tom
Robocop 2. Yeah.
It has Kane the fucking
We will get to
Cyborg.
Robocop
It's
2
amazing.
and 3. We will definitely cover them in the future.
Look, when we get to 3...
Is Fleetwood Mac in that movie?
No, that's a Running Man, mixing Running Man.
No.
Robocop 3 is problematic because it hasn't got Peter Weller in. It has some really stupid scenes in. Robocop 2 retains the grittiness, the ultra realistic violence that the first one had.
It's toned down, but it's there.
It's toned down,
but it builds really nicely on the kind of Detroit being almost apocalyptic at that point.
But the budget goes
elevates
into Kane, and Kane makes the Ed 209 look like a fucking
bitch.
wimp.
Yeah.
Kane has just got every single
It's a
weapon,
flawed movie, but
all
it's
the
still very
upgrades.
entertaining.
Crack addicted robot in it. How
Yeah.
fucked
Yeah.
up is that?
Yeah, that final fight sequence. Oh, it's amazing.
Can you imagine if Optimus Prime was reaching for the powder and like that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Moving on to Jack Hawkins, who has 2 questions.
Hey, Jack.
Question 1, what are your thoughts on The Undertaker retiring, and was Roman Reigns the right man to do it?
I'll let you go first.
Do you want me to go first?
Well, we're pressing close to the end of time, so we're gonna...
Right.
You asked the wrong question.
Yeah, I know.
Right, okay, let's go with this then. As a massive wrestling fan, if you know the history of The Undertaker, you know that The Undertaker had a lot of connections with Yokozuna and the Bone Street Crew.
Yep.
He is possibly quite close to a lot of the Samoan families that are in wrestling. When they signed the Roman Reigns Undertaker match, I knew that was it. I knew Reigns was winning. Yeah. And I'm not going to go into the massive...
Because the streak was already over.
The streak was already over. I'd already seen Undertaker have possibly one of his worst matches at WrestleMania, which was against Brock Lesnar.
Dude.
And that's not putting any stain on the Undertaker. He just cannot...
He's carried by his legacy.
He was carried in that match and could not deliver what he could. During the Roman Reigns Undertaker match, they go for the reverse tombstone piledriver.
No, it's an ugly spot, wasn't it?
And they botch it
twice.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know who botched it or how they botched it, but they botched it twice, and they go for the chair. And Roman Reigns has been told.
From what I could see, Undertaker was too heavy, and Reigns probably not strong enough.
I don't think he could. If Taker's going dead weight at that point through exhaustion, I don't care how strong you are, you're not picking that up.
Yeah, because he's not. Yeah, he's not.
I don't actually. A lot of people are giving Roman Reigns shit for that, and I'm like, calm the fuck down.
I kind of like Roman Reigns a little bit. I see
Roman Reigns.
I see a potential of him following Triple H's career path almost.
Totally.
If he commits to it and overcomes all of the hatred that he's getting right now, I think he can get past it.
I'll say this, for Roman Reigns being... To answer his secondary question of like... Because, I mean, thoughts on retiring is like... I'm going to kind of wrap it up in one answer, I guess, is saying... Roman Reigns being the right person to do it, Taker's last match should have been the one against Triple H in the end of the era match.
Yes.
Because it was such a good send-off.
Yeah.
All three of them stood at the top. You know me as a wrestling
Yes,
fan. I was
yes.
bawling my eyes out. Same as Shawn Michaels always been my favourite wrestler of all time.
Yes.
I watched the WrestleMania 26 main event with you at your house, and I was a wreck.
Yeah, you were a wreck all the way through that match. I'd already seen it, and I was just looking at you while we were watching it.
So, it was a beautiful send off of him going through the ramp and stuff again. Because I've got to admit, the first thing when I saw the setup for WrestleMania, I was like, how the fuck is he walking down that ramp?
It's gonna take like an hour.
Get there till next year's WrestleMania.
Dude, no wonder this fucker's 5 hours. But that he comes out of the ramp and I was like, oh, that was one, clever, and two, really awesome. But so him going down the send off was really cool. Was Roman Reigns the right guy to do it? Considering roster wise, we weren't gonna have it. To be honest, and again, another guy who's polarizing, but probably should have been Cena.
It should have been Brock again, or
I don't want to see Brock
Cena.
again.
It wouldn't have been Brock again. But this is what brings me back to the.
But you
Samoan
are right.
heritage.
It's hard to watch him wrestle over the last recent matches.
Over the Samoan heritage, I reckon he made that call. I reckon there's stuff going on in the background.
I don't know that he made the call.
Since WrestleMania, we haven't heard anything from WWE remarking about Undertaker making that symbology at the end of that match. They haven't remarked anything about that because maybe they just want to pretend it didn't happen. It happened. We were there for Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker. We saw the streak end.
Symbology.
For me,
it's a Boondock reference for you.
For me, I feel Mark Calloway, the Undertaker, it's his time. It's his time to go to NXT and teach people. It's for wrestling.
It's time to not wrestle anymore.
Yes,
he's done enough. We know he's got this big hip surgery coming. He knows that once he's got that done, that's it. I think he's been putting that off, as far as I know. He's been putting off this big hip surgery. So, but I will say this for Roman Reigns: cut his best promo the next night.
Oh, mate!
When he stood in the ring for fucking, it was something like 5-6 minutes.
And they were just giving him shit.
They didn't even beat "fuck you, Roman" chants, and then just goes, "It's my yard now." Drops the mic. It's I feel bad for the dude who's just lost his brother, which is why I think we had on Raw the battering by Braun Strowman to give him time off. Maybe
time off. Yeah, that's my fault.
But I think that with Roman Reigns, it's like turn him fucking heel already. He could do so well. I said this. But in a way, if they're gonna scream at him like that, and he's still a babyface, you don't need to.
No, don't turn him heel. Make him do what Triple H did. Make him be that assassin in the background, beating the fuck out of
the neutral
character
character
for no reason. I even got told by a guy that I work with that, give him the Undertaker's gear.
I said that. I said, when they squared off, I said
he comes out with a coat or something.
I could say, I could see Reigns as the next Undertaker. I was like, you know what, the Undertaker might be moving on, but he might just pass the torch on. Like this company needs its Undertaker. Yeah, and it's a character that can't ever leave the company.
I would say that there's better candidates for that, such as Bray Wyatt.
If you're in the middle of that match, if you're in front of God knows 70,000 people, and the guy who has been there as the fucking beanpole for the last 25 years says to you, "Pin me, end it."
Yeah,
that is more respectful than anything 70,000 people could say.
I'm glad that they put it as the main event. Yeah, because I was worried it was going to be Goldberg Lesnar, and again, I'm like, I know it's the title match, but at this point, your title means nothing. So I was glad that they put it on last. The match though itself, it was like. It was what I thought it would be. The match was what I thought it would be. Was like a lot of punching, a lot of right hands, a couple of big spots like with the table. Yeah. He did. Fucking hell, man. It's like this is what when people say, "I'm fucking wrestling." I'm like, dude, those guys give so much of themselves.
Of their lives to it. Yeah.
Oh my god,
for your entertainment.
And the thing is like that table spot. You didn't have to take that bump. No. He didn't have to take that bump. But I'm glad he didn't try to jump over the top rope because I don't think my heart could have taken it.
Yeah.
But so it's kind of like a lot of you have this curse with wrestlers when they get to a certain point. I understand that a lot of people are like, oh, these guys must be minted. It's like they're not as well paid in retrospect as you think so. Yeah. Unless they're people like John Cena where they've made all this outside money on movies and shit like that. But so Taker's probably wrestling because he's got to. Once he's done with that, that's it. He needs that. Like he's probably getting a good payoff for these WrestleMania things. So you see these wrestlers come back a lot because they have to. Rick Flair,
Yeah.
Cactus, Mick Foley, and there's certain points where you're like, God, you just don't want to fucking see it, man.
But with Taker, with that botch at the recent WrestleMania, I reckon that was the part where he said to himself, if he can't deliver an extraordinary match, then it's time to hang it up.
The match was probably as good as it could have been.
Yeah, it's as good as it could be. But that one botch kind of...
It's a stain, isn't it?
It's a stain where you're
like... That didn't take me out of the match, actually. Because I think they handled it really well. I think so. Because then you think about, you move into the next spot where he's on all fours and Roman's like, stay down, bang, stay down, bang.
You know what? For me, it was something I'm surprised you don't see more of. Because sometimes it's like, well, does that break the spell of wrestling for you if they botch a spot? Or is it like in a fight where when you try and do something, you can't pull it off because the other wrestler is...
For me, it stains the legacy. You remember all the great matches, and if you have too many bad matches after,
that starts to build up.
It'll start to stain, and you'll go, "Oh God, you remember the Undertaker when he had his bad match? That was really bad." We said it about Ric Flair. God, Ric Flair retired against Shawn Michaels, and then he's back in TNA. Then he's back again. Taker lost to Reigns.
Yeah.
End it.
And the next question from Jack Hawkins is, what are your thoughts on Angelina Jolie's portrayal of Lara Croft?
I love Angelina.
Oh my God.
Those two random fucking questions.
Yeah, I haven't seen that since it came out.
Angelina Jolie played a good Lara Croft.
Did she?
For its time. Time.
I like the shorts and the top she wore.
Yeah, the top she wore was quite clingy.
It was a dreadful movie, but
Chris Barry was good in it though, wasn't he?
Chris Barry was good.
Yes.
When he's putting on his slippers and he's cocking a shotgun.
Yeah, it was great to see Chris Barry. Rimmer, Red Dwarf. Sweet. Next question's from Callum Sears, who says, "Hi guys, if someone was making a movie about your life, who would you want to direct the movie? In which actor would like to play you?"
John Carpenter as the director. And either Jason Mewes or Kurt Russell to play me.
Jason Mewes would totally play that. Would be amazing. I'm totally about to say Jason Mewes.
I'm gonna say, give me... Damn.
You'd go for somebody fucked up.
Like that guy who did...
Like that guy who did Synecdoche, New York.
Maybe.
That fucked up film. It'd be all depressing and shit. We had some fun fucking times. And it would just all be like, Gary's not happy there. It'd be like fucking Eraserhead in your fucking film.
Give me David Fincher to direct my life story. And give me Jeff Bridges to play me.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Wait, no. The guy to play you would be what's that guy from Heat? You play Wayne Grey.
Oh God, no.
He's always that people always mistake him from Wayne Grey from Heat.
Fair play.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Next question's from Henry Kwan.
I'd pick Kevin Smith and the guy who played Opie from Sons of Anarchy to play me.
Yeah, you'd be Opie.
Yeah.
Henry Kwan says, "Hi guys, Henry Kwan from Australia. I'm a long-time follower, first-time commenter. My question is, what do you guys all do for a day job? Gary, Jeff, Iain, Andy, have any of you ever considered to get into film criticism or amateur filmmaking full-time or as a viable living?"
Well, I work as a cleaner as my day job.
Don't tell him that when you say cleaner, you mean like Leon.
Oh yeah. I'm
It's the one that turns up and gets rid of all the bodies.
I work mornings and afternoons.
And now you've asked me, I'm coming for you
as well.
In Australia.
If your folder ends up on my desk, there's a reason why it ended up there. It's nothing personal. But we did have an idea way back in the day, long before we thought of off-the-shelf reviews, about making films and doing reviews. But we never had the equipment.
Well, we made a couple of short films.
We were never sober.
We tried to make feature films that were an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, Rich Neve, and we produced films. We knew we had no budget. All of our actors were paid with hot meals and beers and thanks.
And
your credits will be in the film, and you'll get a copy of the DVD once we print it and do it. We even record audio commentaries for those films as well. And I'm still trying to get a working digital version, because right now it's on a DV tape. somewhere. And
Fuck.
yeah, exactly. And so getting some of those footage, because I'd love to share some of that with the Patreons, just to go, hey, this is kind of what we were doing.
I'll tell you something that exists out there that's filmed. Is there's a wrestling match.
Oh no!
Several wrestling
The
matches.
3 stages of hell match between me and Gary.
I have wrestled Gary.
Yeah,
and
me
you
and
two
Andy have wrestled, and me and Ian have wrestled.
I still
Gary
have that
beat
video
me.
on
Gary
VHS.
beat me with a pedigree. I wrestled you actually. Fuck, we had that match as well. Do you remember?
No, we didn't have
Remember?
a match. I blew your knee out.
Yes, we did.
I blew your knee out.
That wasn't a wrestling match. That was you jumping on me in a club like
Yeah,
a tard.
but that was before we had the match.
No,
was
it
the
wasn't. No.
early
I'll
days
tell
of
you the
Plymouth
match. If you remember,
Wrestling
I'll give you the
Alliance.
spot it started with, and
okay.
I'll tell you the other spot I hit you with.
Okay, what was the
The
match?
spot it started with was you had a baseball bat and I had a chair, and we sort of fucking threw it at each other. And I climbed up on the railing doing an Undertaker old school and jumped off and caught you into a diamond cutter.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Well,
That's because you got
remember.
knocked out.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember.
Yeah, and
that.
I very, very, very much remember our 3 stages of hell match, and I'm glad that footage is rare out there.
Yeah, still on tape. Still on tape. Getting dropped on.
I do remember
thumbtacks.
seeing you do the do you know what I really liked in that match is when you did you had the shutters in because we were in a gym, you know, like you had the shutters that come down, and you did a side Russian leg sweep on Gary into the shutters, and I was like, that was a really good fucking spot.
Yeah. No, I checked Gary that Gary had a chair. No, Gary had the baseball bat and I had the chair, and then I said trade you in the middle of the match. Just
You hit
prompt.
me with that
And
baseball
I
bat.
hit the chair so hard with that baseball bat, the shock ran up Gary's arm, and you just watch Gary completely flip off camera because he can't handle the impact in his arm. And I broke the baseball bat. The handle the top of the baseball bat just completely came off.
Fuck.
And the
You hit me so
cameraman
hard, you
holding the
broke the
camera
baseball bat.
looks into the camera and goes,
I remember that!
Shit!
Who was it? Who filmed
that
it?
was Woo. That was Woo.
It was, wasn't it?
We had
Shit.
Woo and
Oh
that was
man,
Woo.
memories. Good stuff. What did you do for a day job?
For a day job, I was a photographer. I was shooting fashion photography for Blue Banana Alternative
Right on.
Fashion, and you know, I kind of stepped away from anything film related. Although I am working in a studio next week again with Rich behind the camera, which is something I've wanted to do for a while because, you know, doing off the shelf reviews is great, but there's no one behind the camera. I like to be behind the camera too, and
You
do
could get
some
one of the
camera
guys
work.
to stand behind the camera.
Yeah. So yeah, but film criticism, we're quite content with doing what we're doing right now, talking about any films that we choose from. So, but we're almost finished.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get to Dominic Button's question, and it's, what do you play on? The PS4, the PC, the Xbox? I play on the Xbox One, went from the PlayStation, came from the Mega Drive, played on PC, but right now, pretty much just playing on the Xbox One because it's easy.
Yeah, I'm on the Xbox One as well, but I'm, at the moment, purchasing a custom Xbox original, before the 360, which has got a bunch of emulators on and arcade emulators as well. It's got
Thousands of games on there.
Thousands of games. It's something I've always wanted.
Yeah.
Because, I like playing...
A retro cabinet, basically.
I like playing a retro cabinet. I enjoy playing brand new consoles. I enjoy playing brand new games. But once they're done, you're waiting for the next big thing to come along. At least with this retro cabinet, Jesus Christ, I get to go back and play Turtles Arcade.
Sweet.
And if I don't complete it in the first try, I get to go back and play it again.
The biggest problem I have with that many games, because I've seen that many games on there, and it is you spend more time just going through the list. It takes you hours just to go through the list.
Problem. What am I going to watch? Well, it's too late now. I
Yeah,
decided I'm going to bed.
But that's just as fun as just going through the nostalgia of seeing all those titles.
When you own it, when we've played it, we've only had it for a short period, so we don't know what we want to play in that short period. The fact that I'm going to own it, I'm going to have days and weeks
just
where I'm just
finding
going to be
those
like,
games.
today I'm going to play Chucky Egg. Tomorrow I'm going to play fucking Streets of Rage on the Mega Drive.
Yeah.
Day after that I'm going to play Zelda on the SNES. I'm going to jump then to Alien vs Predator arcade. I'm going to go play Operation Wolf. And the biggest thing I'm most...
Operation Wolf.
The biggest thing...
God.
The biggest thing
We're
I'm
so
most
old
excited for is to be able to sit down with my son and go, you know what?
Show him, yeah. Yeah.
Here's the games Daddy used to play.
Dude, one of the best times I ever had with Jessica is we sat down on the 360 and on the arcade we both played Altered Beast.
Nice.
Because
yeah.
because for a kid,
Yeah.
it's side scrolling. You don't, even if she sits there a bit lame, it doesn't matter. The game's going to continue and just taps. And she kept fucking calling out what we were going to turn into. I went 1 for 1 across the old levels. I'm like, have you played this before? Like, even on the 5th level, she's like, probably going to turn into a wolf again. I was like, we are going to turn into a wolf again.
It's so weird.
Yeah, no, it was fucking cool.
Final question is from Alexander.
Hey, Alex.
Xander.
Who says, question, have you guys played Resident Evil 7 Biohazard? And what's your opinion? You know, I've played every single Final Fantasy Resident Evil game that there is, except for this one. This is the first Resident Evil game I've not purchased day one.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked that I haven't done it yet, but I'm kind of begrudging the PlayStation right now for it having exclusivity of its VR. Because if I could get that game on the PC and play it in VR, I would be there in an instant. Because I know the game can be played in VR, I'm starving playing it traditionally because I want to experience it fully in VR. I really want to give the game that much of a chance.
See, when I go away to Belgium with my wife and son this year, the stepdaughter's boyfriend has a PS4.
Yeah.
And he has Resident
VR.
Evil. And they have told me I can play it when I get over.
Nice.
It's like zero family time.
I'm looking forward to playing it, but to tell you the truth, I was a big fan of Resident Evil Survivor. When that came out on PlayStation 1. The
good story. Good story.
On-rails gun game.
But it was okay.
It did, yeah.
So, but for me, not much has changed. I'm playing a first-person Resident Evil game. There's going to be mystery. There's going to be puzzles to solve. There's going to be shit to shoot.
I might be the closest on this one because, I've not played it.
Right.
And because I know I didn't have the time for it, but I was really interested in it.
Yeah.
I've watched the entire game on YouTube on the Rad Brad's channel, which is an excellent channel which everyone should check out. It's at first I was really skeptical.
Yeah.
And I watched the demo they put out.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, I'm not sure about it. Like, it looks amazing, don't get me wrong, graphically, but I'm like, fucking at some point it's like this is too dark or it's this or that and the other. It is an excellent reinvention of the genre and the franchise.
Yeah.
It's the ending. I'm not going to spoil, but I was like,
please don't.
Okay, I wasn't 100% on the ending.
That's why I've not watched, because I've watched playthroughs on YouTube as well, but I've only watched the first hour or so, just so I can go, I know this is for me.
It's the first Resident Evil in a long time where I've been like, that's fucking frightening.
Yeah.
And I can see why people are having that freak out in VR.
Yeah.
Like, I was going to get, because I've got the Samsung Edge that I've got, I was like, I should fucking watch this in VR. Not a good idea. Shit your pants scary. But I'll tell you what is really good as well, what I'd recommend is, because I've watched the DLC as well, and they've got some of the most interesting DLC, and it's not just like, oh, here's another level. I don't want to spoil it, but it ties clever, into the story. It's Capcom finally going a bit like, look, let's remember when we were a bit innovative?
Yeah.
Let's fucking do that again.
When it wasn't all over the shoulder shooting,
Yeah, I mean, like, I went back recently, and I think after watching it, I was playing Resident Evil 5 or something like that. Like, I've still got my 360.
It's the silliest one, really.
It's retarded.
Yeah.
It's Resident Evil 4
Resident
HD
4 was
Annoying
amazing.
AI Partner Edition.
Yes,
It's the best way to describe it.
Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, and 4 were
Resident Evil
amazing.
1, when they came out with Director's Cut, was my jam. And when I remember they brought out on the GameCube when we were all living together, when they did the remake,
one,
and we were like, holy shit.
We left Gary in the bedroom, be like, we'll be back in an hour, and we came back,
Yeah,
and he was terrified. Fucking sat like,
sat in the corner of my room going,
the difference when you go from playing Resident Evil, then Resident Evil Directors, and then that remake, that remake brought survival horror to a whole new level. I recently got it on the Xbox One, and 1,000 pointed it recently, going back and finishing that game in like an hour and a half.
That creepy girl in the fucking stocks, dude. Like.
So good.
But I think Resident Evil 7 is an excellent leap for the franchise. And again, I can see why some people are like, that's not Resident Evil. And it's like, you're right, it ain't your Resident Evil. But we said the same thing about 4.
Yeah.
And 4 was fucking excellent.
Yeah.
Give it a chance.
Accept the changes and see what it can do.
Just go with it.
You're gonna if you play that in VR, I think you're gonna love it. But I mean, play it on the toilet.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to bring us to the end of the podcast. I just want to say thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back next month with another podcast. Of course, film reviews on Thursdays, game reviews on Fridays. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Patreon. Thanks for listening, everyone. See you next time.
Peace out.
Peace.